Naruto was never meant to unlock this power during the Chunin Exam. But what if he did? What if Kurama chose to cooperate a month early? Amazing, he survived the preliminaries only days ago, trained chakra control with half his reserves restricted, and somehow learned water walking overnight. Yet now, with his seal stabilized and his chakra flowing normally, he can't even summon a proper toad. Not even a runt beyond tadpole size. And this is the same boy who can flood a battlefield with 1,000 shadow clones without blinking. Why can he divide chakra endlessly, but fail to release it in a single focus surge? Jiraiya forced his gaze away from the lake nearby, where a young woman swam carelessly in the sunlight. Professional focus. For once. Maybe it isn't a quantity issue. Maybe it's interference. When the seal was tightened, his control sharpened. Now that it's balanced again, something inside him might be tugging at the flow. The fox, is it disrupting the output deliberately? Or unconsciously? Below him, Naruto groaned in frustration as another tiny amphibian flopped onto the grass. Why is it always a baby? Naruto snapped at the empty clearing. I know I have enough chakra. He didn't notice Jiraiya perched behind him. Mito had reportedly conversed with the beast directly. Kushina reached a point where she could draw upon its chakra without losing herself. They didn't just borrow power. They understood it, or at least acknowledged it. Perhaps that's the missing piece. Jiraiya dropped from the branch. Naruto, he called casually, what if I told you there's a faster way to summon the toad boss? Naruto spun instantly. Exhausted, sweaty, determined. I'd do it. I'm not losing to Sasuke. There was no jealousy in his voice, just raw competition, a refusal to be left behind. Good, Jiraiya said, come with me. They ran. Naruto had expected a short walk. Instead, they crossed forest terrain at a punishing pace until the trees thinned and the land broke open into a vast canyon. Naruto bent over, hands on his knees, lungs burning. Jiraiya summoned a small toad and sent word to the Hokage. Arrangements made. Then he turned serious. When you used that red chakra before, what did it feel like? Naruto hesitated. Anger. But not just anger. When I thought Sasuke was dead, it felt like something tore open inside me. And during the fight with Orochimaru, it didn't feel like me fighting alone. It was bigger than me. Jiraiya nodded slowly. You're going to meet it. Naruto's expression hardened. Why would I talk to the thing that ruined my life? Because it didn't choose to be there either. That stopped him. You think being sealed for decades is pleasant, used as a weapon, feared, hunted, blamed. Jiraiya folded his arms. Perspective matters. Naruto looked unsettled. You're not the only one carrying a beast. There's a name for people like you, Jinchuriki. Gaara is one, Naruto blinked. That psycho. Yes, and others exist across the nations. Most are tied to leaders, their strategic assets. Naruto stared at the canyon below. I don't want power that isn't mine. It is yours, Jiraiya corrected. Sealed inside you, like a blade at your side. Refuse to wield it and it may cut you anyway. Naruto frowned, processing. And it heals you, Jiraiya added quietly. Control it and almost nothing short of death can stop you. The word Hokage hovered unspoken in the air. Naruto straightened. So what do I do? You speak to it. And how? Jiraiya answered by shoving him over the edge. Naruto's scream echoed as he fell. Midair, panic surged. Then something pulled at his consciousness like a hook behind his thoughts. Darkness swallowed him. He opened his eyes to water dripping somewhere distant. Not water. Echo. He stood ankle-deep in shallow liquid, corridors stretching into shadow. Metal bars loomed ahead. So, a voice rumbled. The container finally visits willingly. Naruto approached the massive gate. Behind it, enormous crimson eyes opened. You're the Ninetales. The beast's lips curled. Obviously. Naruto swallowed but didn't step back. I'm not here to beg, I want to understand something. Why can't I control my chakra properly? And what do you want? Silence lingered. You assume I interfere. Do you? A low chuckle vibrated the chamber. Your seal is complex. My chakra blends with yours at the edges. When you attempt sudden full release, your system hesitates. It isn't sabotage, it's instability. Naruto frowned. So if we synced it, perhaps your flow would stabilize. Naruto glanced around. Why does this place look like a drain? Because it reflects you. That annoyed him. Fine. Then let's change it. The fox's eyes narrowed. You believe you can alter the internal seal environment. It's my head. Naruto shut his eyes. Instead of forcing chakra outward, he let it circulate inward. Calm, even, balanced. The corridor trembled. Water evaporated. Walls fractured. Light poured in from unseen cracks. Metal groaned. The sewer dissolved into open terrain, grass beneath their feet, mountains encircling a vast valley. The gate remained, but no longer oppressive. Simply present. The fox inhaled slowly. You reshape the mindscape with remarkable ease. Naruto opened his eyes. Better, the beast flexed against the bars, now able to move more freely. Yes, for the first time the hostility faded into something contemplative. You seek control. Very well, I will not resist your draw, but understand this, power requires equilibrium. Rage opens the door, balance keeps it open. Naruto nodded. And your name? The fox studied him. Kurama. Naruto grinned faintly. Then let's work together, Kurama. Outside the seal, red chakra pulsed, not violently but steadily. Controlled. Above in the canyon, Jiraiya felt the shift, and smiled. What? Naruto asked slowly, eyes narrowing as he studied the massive fox behind the bars. Kurama remained seated at the center of the cage, tails curled loosely around him. His crimson eyes reflected something rare, consideration. I'm offering you unrestricted access, the fox said at last. My chakra, my instincts, my senses, even my techniques, though you'll have to adapt them for a human body. Naruto blinked. You're serious? Why would you do that? The question wasn't suspicious. It was genuinely confused. Kurama huffed. Because, brat, you've treated me differently. You could have cursed me, blamed me, tried to bury me deeper. Instead, you made this existence tolerable. His eyes flicked away. And it's a waste letting power like mine rot behind a gate. Naruto scratched his cheek awkwardly. You also said senses and abilities. What does that mean exactly? Kurama's tail flicked irritably. You truly never stop talking, do you? Naruto grinned sheepishly. Fine, listen carefully. Beyond raw chakra, every tailed beast possesses something unique. In my case, several advantages. The cave rumbled faintly as his voice deepened. First, I can gather natural energy, though only while remaining still. Second, I perceive negative emotions. Hatred, killing intent, fear. I can detect chakra signatures as well, and sometimes interpret intent through fluctuations in their flow. Naruto's eyes widened. And third, Kurama continued, my chakra amplifies whatever it touches. Wounds regenerate faster. Muscles respond with greater force. Reflexes sharpen. Even your neural pathways accelerate. But misuse it and your body will tear itself apart. That's insane, Naruto breathed. That's amazing. Thank you, Kurama. The fox's ears twitched. Don't make it sound worshipful. I am not your lord. Naruto rubbed the back of his head. Right, sorry. But don't misunderstand, Kurama continued. You will not simply receive this gift. You must separate my chakra from me. Naruto froze. Separate it, wouldn't that hurt you? Yes, Kurama answered bluntly. But it is necessary. My rage and malice are fused with my chakra. If you want clean access, you must sever that link. Otherwise, you'll lose yourself every time you draw deeply. Naruto swallowed, remembering the bridge, the way everything blurred red. How? He asked quietly. Remove the barrier seal on the gate, Kurama instructed. Then connect to my chakra and pull it free. Naruto's head snapped up. Remove the seal. Are you trying to trick me? The fox's eyes rolled. Look carefully. That seal restrains my aggression toward you. It is not the primary containment seal. That one is far more complex, likely hidden beyond even our perception. Naruto stepped closer and examined the paper talisman. The seal on his stomach was a spiral, layered and intricate. The one on the gate bore a single kanji, barrier, so I just tear it off, more or less. Naruto took a slow breath. Well, here goes nothing. He reached upward and ripped the talisman free. Outside Foster Canyon, you called for me, Jiraiya, the masked ANBU asked. They stood near the base of the canyon, rain beginning to mist over the running stream. Jiraiya waved lazily. Drop the formalities, Tenzo. I wasn't formal when I found you in Orochimaru's lab. Tenzo hesitated, then removed his mask. What do you need? I'm helping Naruto access the Nine-Tails chakra. I want you here in case things get unstable. Tenzo stiffened. He's 12, that's dangerously early. He's already used it before, Jiraiya replied calmly. And you know he's not ordinary. Tenzo exhaled slowly. What's the plan? If he successfully extracts a portion of the fox's chakra, we train him to control it. Shadow clones will accelerate his taijutsu development. We'll start Rasengan, and he'll learn to counter genjutsu. You can build muscle memory through clones. Memory is memory, Jiraiya smirked. The body learns what the mind retains. Tenzo folded his arms. What style will you teach him? None, Jiraiya answered immediately. He's too unpredictable. Structured forms would limit him. Instead, we'll give him tools, strikes, counters, feints. He'll assemble his own combinations mid-battle. Tenzo stared. He forced Zabuza to release Kakashi in under 2 seconds, Jiraiya added. Improvised under pressure. And in the preliminaries, he adapted and observed movement instantly. Tenzo nodded slowly. Then we'll prepare him properly. Unknown space, he removed the barrier, Kushina whispered, hands clenched. Minato observed quietly as their son strained against the beast's chakra. Shouldn't one of us intervene? She demanded. Minato shook his head. Look carefully. The fox isn't resisting fully. Naruto had already drawn a significant fraction of the chakra outward. He doesn't need us yet, Minato said softly. Kushina bit her lip. I wanted to be there for this. Minato smiled faintly. When he truly needs us, we will know. Mindscape Naruto braced his feet as crimson energy lashed around him. Kurama gritted his teeth. Don't stop. If you release now, the recoil could destroy us both. Naruto said nothing. Sweat streamed down his face as he pulled again, harder. The fox's body began to thin, fur losing its sheen. I will recover, Kurama growled. Keep pulling. Naruto roared and gave one final wrenching tug. The connection snapped. Outside, a wave of pressure exploded outward from Naruto's unconscious body. Tenzo reacted instantly, wood rising defensively. The surge vanished as quickly as it came. Jiraiya exhaled slowly. Well, that answers that. Mindscape, a massive sphere of red chakra floated high within the cavern, held in place by 8 surrounding pillars. Naruto stared up at it, awestruck. Kurama, reduced but stable, lay on the ground. You all right? Naruto asked. I will recover, the fox replied, breathing slowly. It will take time. A year to return to full strength, less depending on your usage. Naruto nodded. When can I use it? Immediately, but restrict the flow, no more than 2%. Naruto frowned. 2% equals nearly 3 tails. My power scales exponentially, Kurama explained. Each tail represents a disproportionate increase. My third tail alone surpasses what most Biju display entirely. Naruto stared at the glowing orb. So even a fraction makes you monstrous, Kurama finished. Naruto's reflection shimmered red in the light. For the first time, the power wasn't leaking. It was waiting, under control. Naruto remained in his mindscape a moment longer after Kurama settled down. The massive fox, now far smaller than before, padded lazily toward the massive tree that had taken the place of iron bars. He circled once before lying in the shade, 9 tails curling around him. Yeah, go nap, Naruto muttered with a grin. Don't drool too much, Kurama. A single crimson eye cracked open. 2%, the fox rumbled. Use it wisely. Naruto laughed and faded from the mental world. Somewhere beyond, he did it. Minato Namikaze stood with quiet pride in his eyes. Beside him, Kushina pressed her hands together anxiously. Of course he did, he's our son. Her voice softened. I just wish we could tell him that. You know why we can't, Minato said gently. A cold presence gathered behind them. If words are all you desire, a hollow voice echoed, I may deliver them. Both parents turned sharply. The Shinigami stood there, pale and towering, robes drifting in wind that did not exist. Shinigami-sama, Minato said carefully. Be at ease. I am well aware you observed the boy through the remnants of my seal. I allowed it. Kushina stepped forward. Then please, tell him we're proud of him. Tell him no, she turned sharply toward Minato. Excuse me. He cannot know yet, Minato said quietly. He's finally stabilizing. If he learns everything now, it could warp his path. Kushina clenched her fists. For a moment, the air around her flared red. You want me to stay silent while our baby thinks he's alone? I want him safe. Silence. Then Kushina exhaled slowly. Fine. The Shinigami tilted its head. Then what shall be delivered? Minato answered first. Give him my old jacket. Remove anything that would reveal my identity. Kushina added. Everything else in the apartment can stay. My headbands too, both of them. And a letter, came another voice. Jiraiya stepped forward from the haze beyond, arms crossed. The Shinigami nodded once. So it shall be. Training grounds, Naruto opened his eyes to find Jiraiya staring at him intensely. Well, the Sannin demanded. How much? Naruto stretched. Enough. Before Jiraiya could press further, 2 figures landed nearby. Kakashi, Sasuke. What was that surge? Sasuke asked immediately, eyes sharp. Naruto didn't smile. That's not your concern. Kakashi's visible eye curved lazily. We felt it from upstream, it was impressive. Naruto's expression hardened. Thought you were busy. Kakashi paused slightly. We were. With Sasuke, Naruto finished flatly. Tenzo stiffened slightly at the tension. Kakashi didn't deny it. Sasuke requires focused preparation. Naruto's eyes flickered red faintly. And I do. If you lose, you survive, Kakashi said evenly. If Sasuke loses, Gaara may kill him. Jiraiya's gaze sharpened. How interesting, the Sannin said coldly. You predicted his opponent weeks ago? Silence lingered. Naruto's chakra began to hum, subtle, eerie. You taught me tree climbing, Naruto said slowly. Then told me my chakra control was bad. That's it, Kakashi shrugged lightly. Control is foundational. Jiraiya stepped forward. The boy learned water walking in under 2 hours, with reserves larger than yours. Larger than mine at his age, Sasuke scoffed. As if, he has as much raw chakra as the third did when he trained me, Jiraiya said flatly. Sasuke went quiet. Kakashi's posture stiffened slightly. Ebisu trained him, Kakashi said. Jiraiya's expression darkened. Ebisu, the man who openly resented him. The temperature seemed to drop. Leave, Jiraiya said calmly, before this becomes unpleasant. Kakashi stared at Naruto for a long moment. Then he turned and vanished. Sasuke hesitated, then followed. Naruto's glow faded slowly. Let's see the old man, Jiraiya muttered. Hokage Tower, Hiruzen Sarutobi frowned as he reached for his crystal ball. That chakra, I assure you, came a voice behind him. Your concern is justified. Hiruzen moved instantly, faster than he had in years, a kunai flashing backward. It passed through empty air. The Shinigami stood untouched. I see retirement has not dulled you entirely, it said. Hiruzen slowly lowered his weapon. What do you want? A message. The room felt heavier. From Minato. From Kushina, and another. The old Hokage's breath caught. The Shinigami continued. The boy has accomplished something remarkable. He now possesses measured access to the Nine-Tails chakra. Hiruzen's eyes widened. He has. Yes. The Shinigami withdrew a folded letter. Deliver this. Tell him it arrived from Wave yesterday. And the rest. Minato wishes him to receive his jacket. Kushina offers her headbands. The apartment as well, stripped of Minato's trace. The Shinigami began to fade. Farewell, Hokage. Moments later, Jiraiya, Naruto, and Tenzo entered. Old man, Naruto asked. Hiruzen studied him carefully. How far have you progressed? Naruto scratched his cheek. I met him, changed the seal structure a bit, made it more comfortable. Tenzo blinked. You what? Naruto continued casually. He gave me permission to draw from him, said I can use about 2% safely. Jiraiya froze. 2% of what? Naruto shrugged. He said each tail multiplies the output exponentially. Silence. Hiruzen slowly stood. That is unprecedented. He moved toward a locked cabinet and retrieved a wrapped bundle. There are things you should have received long ago. Naruto hesitated. My mother, Jiraiya answered this time. Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto's breath caught. The Red Death of Konoha. Hiruzen revealed the headbands. One from Uzushiagakure, one from ANBU Command. Naruto touched the black metal, red leaf gleaming. Can I wear it? Yes. Naruto bent to retrieve the letter he dropped earlier. He unfolded it and read aloud. Dear brat, he grinned. Yeah, that's definitely for me. If this letter has reached your hands, then that means two things. First, you lived. Second, I didn't. I won't waste ink pretending this is sentimental. If Haku fell, then it was you who defeated him. I expected as much. So I'm leaving Kubikirabacho to you. Don't misunderstand me. This isn't some grand gesture. The alternatives were headache, or that walking puddle with the attitude problem. I'd sooner snap the blade in half than see it carried by either of them. 2 miles north of the bridge is our old hideout. You'll find oil, sharpening stone, seal instructions, and everything required to maintain the blade properly. Treat it with respect. You carry my sword now. Don't disgrace my judgment. Zabuza P.S. Don't get soft about it. He left it to me, Naruto whispered. The letter trembled between his fingers. In his other hand, he still clutched the worn red headbands that had belonged to his mother. The world tilted. Then everything went black. Naruto collapsed. Tenzo steadied himself against a nearby wall, still pale from earlier events. That was a lot for him. Jiraiya folded the letter once more, slipping it away thoughtfully. Finding out about his mother, being entrusted with the blade of Zabuza Mamachi, that's not something a kid shrugs off. He exhaled slowly. I might have dropped too. The Hokage watched quietly. Jiraiya's tone sharpened. Sensei, I'm taking him to Wave. We'll retrieve the sword and train there. I want Tenzo assigned to me. If the brat's going to handle the Nine-Tails chakra safely, I'll need someone who can suppress it. Sarutobi didn't hesitate. Approved. His brush scratched across parchment, drafting a B-rank retrieval assignment. And while you're there, the old man added, strengthen relations with Wave. That won't be an issue, Jiraiya nodded. We can reach it within a day. 3 weeks should be enough. Sarutobi looked up. Why train there? Konoha has safer facilities. Naruto stirred slightly, eyes still closed. The Nine-Tails chakra isn't safe, he muttered hoarsely. Not in the village. Foster Canyon is isolated, and Team 10 trains near there. He opened his eyes. I don't want Sasuke or Kakashi seeing what I learn. Sarutobi's gaze sharpened. Why? Jiraiya answered instead. Kakashi's been investing almost exclusively in the Uchiha. I reviewed every team report I could find. Naruto and the girl show steady growth. Sasuke spikes upward every month. Sasuke is gifted, Sarutobi said carefully. Rookie of the year. I watched Naruto master waterwalking in under an hour, Jiraiya cut in. Anyone who can pull that off with reserves like his shouldn't be lagging behind anyone, not without outside interference. Silence stretched. Sarutobi's brows knit together. Even Tsunade hadn't learned that technique so quickly. Has Kakashi harmed either of them? The Hokage asked at last. Naruto pushed himself upright. He left me alone for finals training, he said quietly. And when I asked why, he dumped me on that exhibitionist who teaches Konohamaru. A faint pulse of killing intent flickered in the room. Sarutobi's expression hardened. Effective immediately, he declared. You are removed from Team 7 pending investigation. Kakashi's conduct will be reviewed. Naruto blinked. For now, Sarutobi continued, you will travel to Wave. Train, return the day before the finals. Then, who's my sensei? Naruto asked. Jiraiya, Sarutobi answered. When he is absent, Tenzo will oversee you. Since you are taking up a blade, Tenzo can instruct you in fundamentals. After the exams, I'll secure a proper kenjutsu master. Naruto's grin returned faintly. Thanks, Jiji. Sarutobi rose and walked to a cabinet beside the door. From within, he retrieved a scroll bound in yellow casing. The man this belonged to would have wanted you to carry it. He handed it over. Open it once you're on the road. Naruto examined it briefly before tucking it away. That all, old man? Jiraiya asked. Sarutobi nodded. We'll be back in a month, Jiraiya said. At the village gates it's late, Jiraiya announced. We're not wasting time on foot. Summon a toad, Naruto blinked. I can't control that yet, remember. Humor me. Put in as much chakra as you would for 100 clones. Naruto formed the seals. Summoning jutsu, smoke erupted violently. The trio shot upward through the cloud. When it cleared, a massive crimson toad stood beneath them. Jiraiya, the toad rumbled calmly. Why have you called me? I didn't, Jiraiya replied. He did. The toad's gaze lowered to Naruto. What do you require? Can you take us to the bridge connecting Fire Country to Wave? Naruto asked. There is a bridge now. The toad adjusted his grip on his shield. Very well, hold tight. I am not particularly graceful. With a thunderous leap, he launched forward. Naruto slipped, sliding down the broad back before catching himself on the toad's shield strap. Jiraiya chuckled under his breath, recovered faster than his father did the first time. Elsewhere, he's grown so much, Kushina sniffed, clinging to Minato. Minato cleared his throat. Kushina, this is somewhat embarrassing. A gruff voice spoke beside them. The red death and yellow flash reduced to tears. I suppose orange makes more sense now. Kushina shot the swordsman a sharp grin. Says the boy who slaughtered his entire academy class for bullying the girl he liked. Zabuza coughed. Irrelevant, Minato smirked. If our son happens to charm a certain red-haired Kunoichi, Zabuza stiffened. Kushina's eyes sparkled. I'm sure any woman would be impressed by the son of a Hokage and an ANBU commander. And with my looks, Minato added dryly. Enough, Zabuza muttered, faint color touching his face. If someone wins her heart, I'd want it to be someone who helped me die human. Silence fell. Minato studied him carefully. What did he do? The fourth asked softly, to earn your respect. Zabuza exhaled slowly. You'd better listen from the beginning. Great Naruto Bridge Tenzo read from the engraved plaque. This bridge stands in honor of Naruto Uzumaki, one of Wave's 3 heroes, who freed us from tyranny. Below it, another plate gleamed. This entrance is dedicated to Zabuza Mamachi, whose final act ended Gado's reign. Jiraiya whistled. Impressive structure. Shame they named it after the brat. Naruto didn't respond. He stood before Zabuza's plaque. Because of you and Haku, I became stronger. I'll carry your will forward. A deep rumble echoed within him. I stand with you, Kit. Naruto's lips curved faintly. You're awake, I never truly sleep, Kurama replied. Gaki, Jiraiya called. You all right? Naruto turned. Yeah, his eyes were steady now. Better than ever. The graves were quiet. Wind rolled off the unfinished bridge, carrying the scent of salt and distant rain. Naruto stood before 2 simple markers carved from rough stone. No grand memorial. No carved titles, just names. You both changed my life, he said quietly, voice steadier than he felt. You gave me something I didn't even know I was missing. A reason. Jiraiya and Tenzo had gone back into town for supplies, leaving him alone with the dead. Naruto reached up and untied his Konoha forehead protector. For a moment, he hesitated, then carefully replaced it with another. The ANBU commander plate that had belonged to his mother rested against his brow. He shifted it slightly to the side, the way Zabuza had worn his. This isn't theft, Naruto murmured. It's inheritance. His gaze lowered to the massive blade embedded in the soil between the graves. The executioner's sword stood like a monument of steel. He wrapped both hands around the hilt. It did not move at first. Naruto inhaled slowly. Not rage, not desperation. Control. Golden chakra flickered faintly around his arms, not wild, not boiling. Focused. Measured. The earth cracked as the blade came free in a spray of dirt. It felt lighter than it should have. He dragged his palm across the edge. The steel bit into skin. Blood slid along the blade's flat surface, dark and bright all at once. I swear, he whispered, that I'll carry this weight properly. For you, for Haku, for the old man, for my mother, for everyone who ever stood on my side. Sentimental. The voice came from behind him, cool, edged with restrained fury. Naruto pivoted instantly. A woman stood several meters away, crimson hair framing a face that was beautiful and furious in equal measure. Her chakra pressed against the air like heat before a storm. He hadn't sensed her approach. That alone told him everything. Put it back, she said evenly. Now, Naruto shifted his stance, blade lowering but not yielding. No, her eyes sharpened. That sword belongs to Zabuza Mamachi. He gave it to me. The air grew heavier. Return it, she repeated, chakra flaring, or I will reduce you to ash. Naruto felt Kurama stir at the edge of his awareness. Not laughter, not mockery, interest. He allowed a thin layer of chakra to coat his muscles, enough to sharpen reflexes without bursting into a visible cloak. I'm not giving it back, he said. She moved. One instant she stood across from him. The next she was within striking distance, fist already arcing forward. Fast. Naruto blurred sideways, golden light flashing briefly as he shifted position. He countered from behind, but she caught his wrist mid-strike and used his own momentum to flip him cleanly over her shoulder. The impact drove air from his lungs. A second strike hammered into his abdomen before he could fully recover. Pain flared. Kurama, he thought sharply. More flow. Chakra surged, not explosive but dense. His vision sharpened. Time slowed fractionally. He stabbed the blade into the ground to anchor himself as he slid backward. Another blur came from his right. Instinctively, he tore the sword free and angled the flat of the blade outward. The impact rang through the steel. She stepped back. For the first time, her expression shifted from rage to surprise. Golden chakra flickered around him in a contained aura. Headband angled, blade resting against his shoulder. For a heartbeat, she saw someone else. You, she breathed. You're mimicking him. I'm honoring him, Naruto shot back. You've taken his weapon, his stance, even the way you hold yourself. I don't even know any of his techniques, Naruto snapped. He gave me the sword, that's all. Silence lingered. The woman reached into her sleeve and withdrew a folded letter. Her eyes scanned it again, though she had clearly memorized every word. He did, she admitted quietly. Naruto exhaled and rolled his shoulder, wincing from the earlier strike. You hit hard. She studied him now with less hostility and more calculation. You endured it, she countered. Few genin could. I'm not normal, Naruto replied bluntly. That much is obvious. She crossed her arms. You move at Jonin speed. Your chakra armor, it resembles the Raikage's lightning release cloak. Naruto blinked. The what? A technique that enhances every cell of the body through chakra flow, she explained. Except yours isn't lightning. It's just chakra, Naruto said. I reinforce my muscles, nervous system, even my eyes. I push as much as I can handle. She regarded him for a long moment. Impressive. Naruto rested the sword against his lap and sat back on the grass. Last time I fought someone at Jonin level, I nearly died. So I'm improving. And why, she asked, are you trying so hard? Naruto's answer came without hesitation. So I can protect the people who matter. The conviction in his voice made her chest tighten unexpectedly. You remind me of him, she admitted. He grinned faintly. Yeah, I get that. She sighed, the last of her anger dissipating. From a pouch at her lower back, she withdrew a scroll and tossed it toward him. Naruto caught it midair. Advanced water techniques, she said. They'll suit that blade. His eyes widened as he skimmed the contents. Are you serious? Don't make me regret it, she replied, a small smile breaking through. And keep his memory alive properly. Thank you, Meini. The title made her pause, then soften. Water swirled around her form, dissolving her into mist. Naruto stared at the space she'd occupied. That was awesome, he muttered. I hope that's in the scroll too. He hoisted the sword onto his shoulder and headed back toward town. Training wasn't going to wait. 45 minutes later, Jiraiya crossed his arms, expression uncharacteristically serious. This month isn't going to be comfortable. Naruto sat cross-legged across from him, while Tenzo leaned against a tree nearby. We refine everything, Jiraiya continued. Taijutsu, Kenjutsu, Ninjutsu, Seal Work, and your new chakra control, Naruto blinked. Seal Work, Fuinjutsu, Jiraiya corrected. An art form most shinobi ignore because they lack imagination. Can it actually be used in combat? Jiraiya grinned. The fourth Hokage's flying thunder god was pure Fuinjutsu, teleportation through formula placement, instant movement. Naruto's eyes widened. You can store weapons, release traps mid-swing, modify terrain, reinforce barriers. It's limited only by creativity. So I could seal this sword somewhere on my body and deploy it instantly. Exactly. Naruto's grin stretched ear to ear. Teach me. I will, Jiraiya said. But first we build a stronger foundation. He formed a hand sign. Shadow clone technique. Two Jiryas stood where one had. Naruto laughed. That's cheating. It's efficiency, Jiraiya corrected. One of you trains chakra control with me, the other spars with Tenzo. Tenzo pushed off the tree. I won't go easy. Naruto stood, golden chakra flickering faintly. Good. Far away, in the shadows of Adagakure, Orochimaru studied a report. So the boy is away from Konoha for the month, he mused. Kabuto adjusted his glasses. Training for the finals. How fortunate, Orochimaru murmured. With Jiraiya absent, Konoha's surveillance weakens. Movements become simpler. Kabuto frowned slightly. And the Uzumaki, Orochimaru's smile thinned. He is irrelevant. Yet somewhere in the back of his mind, curiosity stirred. Back in Konoha, the third Hokage reviewed Team 7's performance reports with a troubled expression. Kakashi had not failed, but he had not nurtured growth either. Sasuke's advancement appeared dramatic, yet closer inspection revealed stagnation prior to the wave mission. His Sharingan's awakening had masked the plateau. And Naruto, the reports were inconsistent. Unpredictable spikes in ability, unusual chakra control. If even half of Jiraiya's updates were accurate, the Hokage exhaled slowly. The finals would not unfold as anyone expected. That was exactly what troubled him. Even Minato Namikaze and Itachi Uchiha, two once-in-a-generation prodigies, had not eclipsed their peers to this extent at graduation. Yes, both had finished early, but at the time they stepped into the world as shinobi, they had merely been competent genin. Promising, certainly, but not monsters. Kakashi himself had been much the same, yet Uchiha Sasuke had exited the academy already operating at a level that brushed dangerously close to Chunin. His fundamentals, speed, tactical awareness, it all exceeded what the records suggested he should possess. And then there was Naruto. The boy had left the academy with the worst documented scores in its history. Dead last, failed 3 times, and yet within a single day of his final failure, he mastered a forbidden B-rank technique and used it to overwhelm a trained Chunin in direct combat. Nothing about it aligned. He could accept Sasuke's natural talent. The Uchiha bloodline alone guaranteed excellence. But if the boy had truly been that advanced, why had no one reported it? Why had the academy not adjusted his placement? And Naruto, Mizuki had confessed to manipulating his evaluations. But how far had that sabotage gone? Because by every measurable standard, Naruto displayed the makings of a prodigy, perhaps even one who surpassed his own father. So how had he been branded the worst? Even Haruno Sakura raised questions. Daughter of 2 retired but capable shinobi, academically brilliant, balanced in theory and chakra control. Yet her mission records showed near inactivity. Minimal engagement, minimal effort, the patterns were wrong. Bring me Ibiki, Anko, Height, and Genma. Immediately, Sarutobi ordered sharply. 2 masked ANBU vanished without hesitation. I will uncover what has been happening inside my academy, he swore silently. And once I do, Kakashi and I will have a long conversation. 3 weeks later, all right, Naruto, Tenzo said calmly, stepping into position. Another round, show me how much ground you've covered. He narrowed his eyes slightly. No Fox Chakra. That's your ace. You don't build foundations by leaning on trump cards. Naruto grinned and nodded. In an instant, he burst forward, his speed solidly within high genin range. His fist shot toward Tenzo's jaw. Tenzo caught it effortlessly and pivoted, flipping the blonde over his shoulder. But Naruto adapted mid-motion. As he rotated through the air, a seal on his palm flared. A blade slid into his grip, and he twisted, slashing toward Tenzo's back before landing. Tenzo barely evaded. From the sidelines, Jiraiya watched with folded arms, a slow smile spreading across his face. Sharp, the Sannin murmured. His combat awareness is absurd. High genin speed, maybe brushing Chunin in raw strength, but the way he reads positioning, he turns disadvantage into leverage instantly. His gaze softened briefly. You truly are Minato's son. Tenzo straightened. Your physical growth is impressive, speed at high genin. Strength, low Chunin when utilizing that sword properly. Taijutsu solid, though experience is lacking. I'd place it high genin overall. He settled back into stance. Now, ninjutsu, Jiraiya stepped forward instead. I'll handle this. No offense, Tenzo, but the brat's reserves rival mine. And after the chakra control drills we've beaten into him, he's sitting comfortably at low Chunin control. He cracked his neck. All right, Gaki, impress me. Naruto inhaled sharply. Water style, water dragon. Moisture condensed violently from the surrounding air, twisting into the shape of a roaring serpent that surged toward Jiraiya. The Sannin's brows shot upward. A B-rank technique unprompted. Untaught. Before he could counter, water style, great colliding wave. A tidal surge erupted behind the dragon, amplifying its force. Earth style, earth bunker. Jiraiya slammed his palms into the ground. A hardened dome rose around him as water crashed violently against it. He smirked from within. Let's escalate. Earth style, earth bullet dragon. The earthen projectile tore toward Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened. His hands blurred. Earth style, earth wall. A massive wall erupted upward. 10 feet tall, thick and solid. The impact rattled through it but failed to break through. When the dust settled, Naruto was kneeling behind the muddy aftermath of clashing techniques, breathing heavily. 2 B ranks and a C rank, he panted. Already burned through about a quarter. Jiraiya approached him. You exhausted yourself because you pulled water from the air instead of a nearby source, he explained. Wind is your natural affinity. Other elements will demand more control and cost more chakra. He folded his arms. And you attempted to shorten the hand seals. Naruto stood, wiping sweat from his brow. The second Hokage could cast Water Dragon with one sign. If I cut mine down, it'll be faster in battle. Jiraiya chuckled. Tobirama had cage-level precision. Even with shadow clones and the fox no longer disrupting your flow, you're years away from that. Tenzo stepped forward. He returns in a week. We have a few more days. Jiraiya waved dismissively. He's already low Chunin without the fox. With it, low Jonin, the kid deserves a break. He turned and walked away. Come on, Gaki. We've got something for you. Konoha Sasuke's fingers flew through seals. Lightning gathered in his palm, shrieking violently as it condensed into a sphere of raw energy. The ground cracked beneath him as he dashed forward. The Chidori pierced the training dummy clean through, splinters exploding outward. Kakashi nodded. Progress, but not mastery. Tomorrow we refine it. He lowered his visible eye slightly. Remember, this technique exists to kill. You use it only to protect comrades. Sasuke turned away, expression unreadable. This will be enough, he thought coldly. Don't interfere, Dobi, and I won't need to test it on you. Wave Country Weapon Shop. The bell chimed as the trio entered. Welcome back, Shinobi-san. Naruto-sama, the shopkeeper beamed. Jiraiya stepped forward. Are the orders complete? Finished weeks ago, and the secondary request as well. The man hurried into the back. Naruto blinked. Did he just call me Sama? Jiraiya smirked. Wave sees you as their hero. Tenzo nodded. You've only visited Graves and Tazuna. The rest of the country speaks highly of you. The shopkeeper returned with 3 boxes. You saved us, he said sincerely. Why wouldn't we honor you? He placed them down. These 2 were ordered. The third was left by a red-haired woman. Naruto froze slightly. May, Jiraiya's grin widened. Oh, the Gaki's keeping secrets. Tenzo tilted his head. Curious timing. Naruto scratched his cheek. Met her after visiting Zabuza. She gave me a scroll. He unrolled it briefly. Water techniques. Jiraiya's eyes narrowed slightly. Did she give a surname? Naruto shook his head. He opened the box. Inside were 2 reinforced belts and a letter. The message explained Zabuza's dream of perfect silent killing, and how the belts would anchor Kubikirabacho seamlessly through chakra flow. Naruto's grip tightened slightly. Make him proud, Jiraiya laughed lightly. At this rate, Gaki, you'll drown in gifts. Open hours, Tenzo added. Naruto lifted the second lid. Inside lay a redesigned outfit, orange retained but muted, blended with dark blue ANBU-style fabric. The Uzumaki crest rested boldly across the back. He changed quickly. When he stepped out, both men went silent. He looked striking, too much like Minato. Sharp, Jiraiya muttered. Minato reborn. Naruto's eyes shimmered. Thank you, the shopkeeper watched, stunned that such a simple gesture moved the hero to tears. One more, Jiraiya said softly. Naruto approached the final box. He lifted the lid. His breath caught. No way, you do like it? Jiraiya asked lazily, arms folded as he watched the boy stare at the jacket in his hands. Naruto turned it over slowly. The fabric was deep blue, trimmed in black. Orange flames curled along the hem and sleeves like living embers. On the back, stitched boldly in crimson thread, were the characters for Leaf's demon. He slipped it on. It fit perfectly. Flexible, light, designed for movement. It concealed the dual belts strapped across his waist, and even had a reinforced clasp near the collar, where a forehead protector could rest without shifting. You didn't have to go this far, Naruto muttered quietly. Jiraiya shrugged. Maybe not, but you said you wouldn't wear his, so I figured you deserved something that was yours. Earlier, 1 month prior, Oi Naruto, you're not zoning out on me, are you? Jiraiya called. Naruto walked along the wooden bridge, studying its grain patterns as if they held secrets. I'm fine, better than fine. Tenzo stepped closer. What was inside that scroll the Hokage gave you? Naruto blinked. Oh that, he dug into his pouch and unfurled it, his eyes narrowed. It's a seal array, Jiraiya smirked. Well, feed it some chakra. Naruto pressed his palm against the center symbol. Smoke burst outward. When it cleared, Naruto stood frozen. Scroll in one hand, in the other, a white cloak. Red flames rising from the base. The fourth Hokage jacket. Why would he give me this? Naruto asked faintly. Jiraiya's voice softened, though he masked it with gruffness. When he sealed the 9 tails into you, it wasn't just sacrifice. He believed you'd grow strong enough to wield that power for the village's sake. If you're reaching that point, you should have something that reflects it. Naruto clenched the fabric. I can't wear this, he said firmly. That belongs to the greatest shinobi who ever lived. I won't touch it until I've earned that title. Jiraiya didn't respond immediately. For a moment, he wasn't looking at Naruto. He was looking at Minato. Present enough sentiment, Jiraiya said abruptly. We've got less than a week left. Konoha, Hokage office Hiruzen Sarutobi, studied the 4 shinobi standing before him. Hayate coughed lightly, the performance still intact despite his improving health. What have you uncovered? The Hokage asked, pipe resting between his fingers. Ibiki stepped forward first. 2 matters, Team 7 and the Academy. Start with Hadake. Ibiki opened a thick binder. Kakashi's early training consisted almost entirely of teamwork drills and D-rank missions, ordinarily insufficient. However, Team 7's cohesion was nearly non-existent. By most reports, Uzumaki was the emotional core holding them together. Hiruzen nodded faintly. The C-rank mission that escalated to A-rank. In hindsight, it forced growth, risky but effective. After that, performance improved. Anko continued. After the Uchiha brat received the curse seal, Kakashi immediately prioritized him. He sealed it using a dual-layer suppression method, but left its activation dependent on Sasuke's will. Her lip curled, considering the kid's obsession with revenge. That was reckless. Hiruzen quietly agreed. Hate cleared his throat. Witnesses overheard Kakashi dismiss Uzumaki, claiming he wasn't worth immediate attention. Shortly after, he left the village to train Sasuke personally. Silence. Hiruzen exhaled smoke. And the academy, Genma stepped forward. Uzumaki's academic record suggests deliberate stagnation. His written scores were consistently low, but rarely failing. Physical scores barely passing. However, he placed several tapes on the desk. Obstacle course footage shows he consistently ranked top 5 in evasion, speed, and reaction timing. Hiruzen's eyes sharpened. There are patterns suggesting instructors interfered with his development. Once Uruka took over, his performance improved, until other teachers volunteered additional help. After that, his scores declined again. The room darkened. Compile every instructor suspected of obstructing Uzumaki's growth, Hiruzen ordered quietly. If proven true, seal their chakra and imprison them for treason. If Mizuki had deeper influence, Inoichi will examine their memories. No one questioned the severity. Outside the village Pervy Sage, what is this place? Naruto asked. Before them stood a decaying shrine complex swallowed by forest. This, Jiraiya said, is the Uzumaki shrine. Tenzo's eyes widened. I thought that was legend. Most do, Jiraiya replied. Layered genjutsu barriers hide it. Only those who have entered within Uzumaki can find it again. Naruto stepped forward slowly. Something in the air felt familiar. We've got 5 days, Jiraiya continued. Time you learn to refine that chakra of yours properly. Training began immediately. Not brute force. Control, compression, expansion without leakage. Walking exercises while maintaining rotational chakra flow. Meditative contact with the seal. Naruto didn't just draw on the 9 tails. He learned to channel it without losing himself. 5 days later, Chunin Exam Stadium Hokage Dono, the Kazekage said smoothly, seated beside Sarutobi. Your health seems steady. As does yours, Hiruzen replied. Jiraiya appeared beside him casually. Deserts aren't forgiving. The Kazecage's eyes flickered downward toward the arena. Are we missing participants? Hiruzen frowned. Dasu, Naruto, both absent. Relax, Jiraiya muttered. He's here. Arena floor Neji Hyuga stood calm. Fate has already decided this outcome. Sasuke's jaw tightened. You better show up, idiot. Gaara stared blankly ahead. Mother warned me about him. Shino blinked. Beetles are restless. Genma glanced at the clock. Naruto Uzumaki has 1 minute to report or be disqualified. The stadium grew still. Wind brushed the sand below. Then a voice echoed from everywhere at once. Calm, cold, layered. Go ahead and begin. I'm already present. A ripple of unease spread through the arena before anyone even realized why. Sasuke stiffened first, then Sakura. Kakashi's visible eye narrowed. Memories of mist and blood surfacing uninvited. Neji's Byakugan flared instinctively, veins rising at his temples as he searched for the source of the voice that echoed through the stadium, and found nothing. Guy and Kurenai both felt a chill crawl up their spines. They had fought members of the Seven Swordsmen before. That tone, that killing intent, it was familiar. Genma exhaled slowly, senbon tilting in his mouth. Neji Hyuga and Naruto Uzumaki remain in the arena. Everyone else returned to the observation box. The remaining genin obeyed, though more than a few kept scanning the stadium for a flash of orange. Genma's eyes moved across the field. Both fighters ready, Neji crossed his arms calmly. I've been ready, assuming Uzumaki hasn't fled. A low chuckle answered him instead. You claim your eyes see all things, the voice echoed lazily, yet you fail to see what stands above you. Perhaps the Hyuga name is exaggerated. Neji's jaw tightened. Reveal yourself. Destiny has already chosen this outcome. There's no need for theatrics. A shinobi who hides is not a coward, he is efficient. The voice sharpened. But since you insist, look up. Dozens of heads snapped toward the cage balcony roof, and silence swallowed the arena. Standing on the edge was a blonde figure, long hair brushing his shoulders, one side falling across his face, while the other was held back by a dark headband worn to the side. A blue short-sleeved jacket hung over orange fabric, stylized flames licking the hem and sleeves. A massive blade rested across his back. The resemblance was impossible to ignore. Whispers ignited instantly. The fourth, no, that's the Jinchuriki brat. Kakashi froze completely. For a split second the years peeled away. Minato-sensei. Naruto vanished. A flicker, nothing more. He reappeared 10 feet in front of Neji, blade already drawn and planted into the stone floor beside him with a heavy crack. Start it, Naruto said flatly. I'm done being talked down to. Genma blinked once. First match, Neji Hyuga versus Naruto Uzumaki. Begin. Neji's smirk returned, though it felt strained. Dramatics won't change reality. You were born beneath me. Naruto didn't respond with words. His hands blurred through signs. Water style, crushing tide. A violent surge of water erupted from his mouth, slamming into Neji before the Hyuga prodigy could even adjust his stance. The impact hurled him backward, smashing him into the arena wall and carving a human-shaped crater into the stone. Gasps tore through the stands. Water flooded the battlefield, rising rapidly until the entire floor was submerged beneath a shallow, shifting lake. Neji forced himself out of the indentation in the wall, landing unsteadily on the water's surface. Naruto stood across from him, unmoving. Get up, Naruto said quietly. I'm tired of hearing who I'm supposed to be. A faint red shimmer bled over his skin, not wild, not feral, controlled. Calculated. The chakra coated his network like armor, flowing evenly instead of bursting outward. You'll need everything you have. Observation box. Ino leaned forward, eyes wide. Since when does he look like that? Kiba scowled. He never used water techniques against me, and that sword, Sakura swallowed. When Orochimaru attacked him, he mentioned something about a seal. His chakra felt strange after that. Choji blinked. Wait, that blade, Kakashi answered quietly. It belonged to a missing nin from the mist. Naruto must have retrieved it during the break. His gaze sharpened, and he formed that water technique with reduced seals. Why hide that from me? Cage balcony Hiruzen allowed himself a small smile. You're stepping forward at last. Beside him, Jiraiya folded his arms, equally pleased. Arena Neji attacked first this time. His strikes were precise, cutting through the water with deadly efficiency. Naruto avoided them with minimal movement, reading the flow rather than reacting blindly. Using the surface tension, Naruto pivoted sharply and drove a kick toward Neji's temple. Blocked. But Neji's arm trembled on impact. That force, it rivals Lee. And that red chakra. Naruto leapt backward, landing 30 feet away in a spray of water. His hands moved again, faster now. Water style, Azure Dragon. The entire lake beneath them surged upward, spiraling into a towering serpent of water that coiled behind Naruto before roaring forward with devastating speed. The stadium erupted in shock. Neji gritted his teeth. Rotation. Chakra exploded outward as he spun violently, forming a defensive dome. The dragon collided with the spinning barrier, detonating into a violent rainstorm that drenched spectators near the arena. When the mist cleared, Naruto stood calmly on rippling water. Neji knelt, breathing hard. You still don't understand, Neji rasped. This was decided the moment our names were paired. He launched forward suddenly, Byakugan locked onto Naruto's chakra system. Palm strikes hammered into Naruto's chest, shoulders, abdomen. Tenketsu sealed in rapid succession. Chakra pathways struck again and again. But Naruto did not fall. Neji's eyes widened. Why isn't it shutting down? The red chakra shielded the coils internally, dulling the precision of the gentle fist. Naruto finally moved. A single punch. Augmented. It connected squarely with Neji's face. The impact blasted him across the flooded arena, his body skipping violently across the water before coming to rest floating face up. Silence followed. Naruto lowered his arm. Destiny, honor, revenge. His voice carried clearly. They're excuses people cling to when they're afraid to change. He walked to his sword, lifted it free, and secured it across his back before heading toward the stairs. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. Cage balcony. He's matured quickly, Hiruzen observed. Jiraiya scratched his cheek. Kid did most of that himself. I just nudged him in the right direction. Behind them, disguised eyes narrowed. Orochimaru's smile thinned. Minato's son indeed, very troublesome. Perhaps the invasion can wait. Let the Sand Jinchuriki test him first. Contestant box Sasuke stepped forward immediately. Where did you learn those techniques? Why couldn't I read them? Naruto ignored him completely. He stopped in front of Gaara instead. You carry one, Naruto said evenly. I carry 9. A hush fell, Gaara's eyes sharpened. Mother confirmed it. Your control is impressive. You end your fight quickly, Naruto replied. Then we settle it. And the Uchiha, Naruto didn't look back. Don't kill him. Gaara considered this, then nodded faintly before vanishing in a swirl of sand. Sasuke's voice followed sharply. Answer me, Naruto said nothing. Flashback, shrine steps. Jiraiya's expression had been unusually serious that evening. There are two kinds of people, he told Naruto. Those who confront the world directly, and those who hide behind beliefs. Naruto listened carefully. Some cling to fate. Some cling to revenge, some cling to honor, their crutches. The strong don't lean on words, they act. Present Naruto's eyes remained forward. And for the first time, the entire stadium understood something clearly. He was no longer chasing acknowledgement. He had already stepped beyond it. Naruto didn't warn him. 1 second Sasuke stood there, eyes spinning crimson as he tried to predict the blonde's movement. The next, the world blurred. Even with the Tamo rotating, he saw nothing. Only felt fingers clamp around his throat and his body lifted clean off the ground. You're done leaning on me, Naruto said quietly. No shouting. No grin. Just cold certainty. I'm not your stepping stone anymore. Sasuke clawed at Naruto's wrist, shock breaking his focus. Let go. You think talent means you get to copy everything. Naruto continued, tightening his grip just enough to make his point. I bled for every scrap of strength I have. You watched and memorized. The pressure vanished. Sasuke was hurled across the arena, skidding through dust and crashing into the stone barrier before falling to the stadium floor. Silence swallowed the crowd. Genma cleared his throat, senbon tilting in his mouth. Well, that's one way to make an entrance. Are both contestants prepared? Across the arena, Gaara's pale eyes narrowed. Sand began trickling from his gourd, spreading outward like a living tide. Beneath the stadium tiles, grains shifted and gathered. The Uchiha no longer mattered. Naruto did. Sasuke rose slowly, fury burning brighter than pain. I'll make this quick, he muttered, crimson eyes locking onto Gaara. I need him after. Begin. Sasuke leapt back instantly, widening the distance. Chakra surged down his arm as lightning shrieked into existence around his palm. The sound pierced the stadium. This is the pride of my clan, he shouted, sprinting forward. Chidori, the charge tore across the arena in a blur of blue light. Gaara didn't move. Instead, sand spiraled upward, forming a dense sphere around him, layer upon layer compressing tighter than steel. Sasuke's lightning-coated hand drove into the barrier and went through. The crowd erupted in cheers. They died a heartbeat later. Sasuke screamed. Inside the sphere, the sand wasn't passive, it constricted. Grains slipped between his fingers, twisting, pulling. His knuckles bent backward with sickening precision. His wrist followed. Then his elbow. Outside, the sphere dissolved. Gaara stood untouched while sand wrapped Sasuke completely, suspending him midair. You live because he allows it, Gaara said flatly, glancing toward Naruto. That mercy confuses me. He released the sand. Sasuke hit the ground hard, his left arm hanging grotesquely out of alignment. Winner, Genma announced, eyes flicking uneasily toward the Kage's balcony. Gaara of the Sand. As medics rushed in, Gaara's gaze never left Naruto. If you disappoint me, he said softly, I will finish what I started. You wish to see me? Naruto stood before the Hokage's viewing platform, posture relaxed but alert. You may stand normally, the Hokage replied, studying him carefully. That display earlier was unexpected. The Kage's eyes lingered, calculating. I sensed water techniques, the Hokage continued. Yet your academy evaluation showed wind. Naruto scratched his cheek. Yeah, wind's still there, the Hokage frowned. You executed advanced water techniques with reduced seals. That should not be possible without natural affinity. Naruto shrugged. Seals take too long in a real fight. That is not the concern, the Hokage said quietly. Even I require full sequences for elements outside my natural alignment. Naruto blinked. So I've got more than one. Can you perform earth techniques with shortened sequences? A nod. The Hokage exhaled slowly. Remarkable. The Kazekage finally spoke. Let us see if that talent survives against my son. Naruto met his gaze directly. I intend to stop him. If he loses control here, it won't just be a match. A flicker of hostility rippled from the Kazekage, brief, sharp. Naruto felt it. Subtle crimson flickered in his pupils before fading. I suggest caution, the Kazekage said, voice thin as wind. Provocation carries consequences. Naruto's smile didn't reach his eyes. So does unleashing unstable weapons. The air went heavy. The Hokage intervened. That will be enough. Naruto bowed slightly. Permission to prepare, granted with a nod. As he passed Jiraiya, Naruto murmured, there are others. 5. Hiding negative intent. Jiraiya stiffened. Medical wing Kabuto adjusted his glasses as chakra knit bone and ligament back into place. The dislocations were clean, he remarked pleasantly. You will recover fully. Internally, his thoughts churned. Orders complicated everything. Timing was shifting, and Naruto Uzumaki was becoming inconvenient. Contestant waiting area, you forfeited, Naruto asked. Shikamaru leaned back against the wall. Too much effort to continue. You were winning. Winning takes stamina. I'd be drained before the next round. He glanced at Naruto. And I'm not suicidal, Naruto snorted. Fair. You're different, Shikamaru added quietly. Naruto didn't answer. He turned toward the exit. Where, preparing, mindscape water dripped somewhere in the darkness. Kurama's massive eye opened. You're calmer, the fox observed. Naruto sat cross-legged at the edge of the cage. Tell me about him. The sand host, a rumble of amusement echoed. He relies on density and range. Soak the sand, increase its mass, slow its response. And if he transforms, then you draw deeper. Naruto's jaw tightened. Last stable flow was 12%. Push to 15, Kurama said. Your coils have strengthened. And the chains? Unreliable, Naruto exhaled. Then we adapt. Kurama's grin widened in the darkness. Good. Elsewhere Gaara stood alone. Why delay? Kankuro demanded quietly. Gaara's gaze remained fixed on the arena. He is not prey, Gaara murmured. He is proof. Of what? That I am not alone. Sand shifted restlessly around his feet. The invasion could wait. First, the red-haired Jinchuriki would measure himself against the only other monster in the arena. Arena floor. A streak of crimson light cut across the arena and solidified into Naruto Uzumaki. The technique was nothing special in theory, just a body flicker. But fueled by the Nine-Tails chakra, it left behind a distorted afterimage and a faint ripple in the air. He started calling it Fox Step. It sounded better than enhanced Shunshin. He straightened slowly, eyes scanning the stadium. The stands were still filling. Nobles whispered. Civilians pointed. Jiraiya remained near the Hokage's platform, arms folded lazily, though Naruto knew better than to mistake that posture for relaxation. The old pervert was watching everything. Kakashi stood several rows below, visible eye narrowed. Was it confusion? Suspicion? Regret? Naruto didn't particularly care. He was no longer on Team 7. That tether had snapped the moment Sasuke fell. Sakura hadn't noticed him yet, or perhaps she had and chose not to react. Hard to say. Ino's attention, however, was unmistakable. The look she usually reserved for Sasuke lingered on Naruto now, unreadable. Interesting. Across the arena, Guy and his team were deep in discussion. Lee looked shaken. Tent analytical. Guy contemplative. Shikamaru leaned back against the railing beside Asuma, looking bored, though Naruto knew that was never the full truth. Shino stood silently, absorbing everything as always. A figure landed lightly beside him. Genma Shiranui. The senbon in his mouth tilted upward as he gave Naruto an easy grin. If things get ugly, Genma muttered quietly, I'll step in. Naruto glanced at him. You're one of the few who would. Genma chuckled. You've changed, kid, less noise. More weight? Naruto's lips curved faintly. Still, Genma added, don't lose the pranks entirely, keeps life interesting. Before Naruto could answer, it hit him. A violent surge of malice. 15 feet away, sand spiraled upward as Gaara of the desert emerged. Their eyes locked. He senses me, Gaara thought, grin splitting his face unnaturally wide. Even Baki cannot. Good. You will satisfy me. Start it, Gaara hissed aloud. Now, Genma inhaled slowly. The first match of the second stage, Naruto Uzumaki vs. Gaara of Sunagakure. A pause. Begin. Gaara moved first. Sand shot forward like a lance aimed at Naruto's chest. Metal rang as Naruto intercepted it with the broad side of his oversized blade. He pivoted, bringing the weapon around in a horizontal sweep, but sand rose instantly, forming a dense barrier that absorbed the strike. Naruto withdrew in a burst of speed as more sand lashed outward. Dry, he noted. The arena was flooded earlier. No matter, he inhaled. Water style, great tidal surge. A violent torrent exploded from his mouth, crashing into Gaara's sand defense. The impact forced the redhead backward, sand hissing as it absorbed the moisture. Gaara's expression twitched. His control faltered just slightly. Naruto followed immediately. Hidden mist technique. Vapor swallowed the arena. That's the demon of the mist technique, Sakura gasped. Kakashi's visible eye narrowed. It's similar but rougher, less refined. Asuma attempted to peer through the fog. I can't see anything, Guy exhaled slowly. The density is remarkable. How much chakra does that kid have? Asuma muttered. Arena, within the mist, Gaara's breathing quickened. His sand felt heavy, sluggish. Water disrupted its cohesion. Every motion required more chakra, more effort. And the silence, no footsteps, no splashes, impossible. They stood on water. A voice drifted through the fog, soft, almost playful. 1, the sound echoed from everywhere. 2, I'm coming for you. A chill ran through the stadium. 3, 4, I'll carve you to the core. Gaara snarled, sand shifting frantically around him. 5, 6, mix in crimson. Steel struck. His sand shield barely intercepted the descending blade. The force drove him to one knee. 7, 8, seal your fate. The killing intent that followed felt tangible, like frozen metal pressed against the heart. 9, Gaara twisted. Too slow. 10, pain erupted along his arm. The cleaver's edge had cut through wet sand and into flesh. Blood streaked down the blade. Naruto stepped forward, eyes glowing faintly red through the mist. Let's continue. He yanked the sword free. Gaara screamed high, cracked, unhinged. My blood, you! Sand surged violently around him, wrapping his body as he retreated. Outside the mist, spectators heard only fragments. Metal, water. A distorted counting rhyme. Jonin strained to track faint disturbances across the surface of the flooded arena. Within, Gaara's chakra spiked wildly. Sand thickened, coating half his body. His eyes shifted, gold iris, black sclera. The mist blasted outward under a violent shockwave. Come Uzumaki, Gaara roared. Make me feel alive, Naruto exhaled. Enough games. Red chakra poured from his skin, forming a controlled cloak that danced around him like living fire. He pushed forward, speed rivaling low Jonin. Sand spears erupted toward him. He weaved, severed them mid-motion, closed distance again. Gaara's transformation was accelerating. Unstable. Naruto glanced toward the stands. If he fully transforms here, he pivoted mid-strike, slamming his fist into the arena wall. Stone detonated outward. Without hesitation, he sprinted through the breach. Gaara followed instantly. Don't run. They scaled the Hokage monument in seconds. Hokage platform, Hiruzen's eyes gleamed faintly. Kazekage Dono, he said mildly. Your son seems spirited. The disguised Kazecage's gaze remained fixed upward. It appears your shinobi has drawn him away from civilians. A pause. If he cannot restrain Gaara, then I will, the Kazekage replied smoothly. Jiraiya stepped forward. If it gets out of hand, I intervene. Without waiting for permission, he vanished, Genma following close behind. The masked Orochimaru slipped away silently. Whether Gaara succeeds or not, he mused, the invasion begins soon. Spectator section, Ino exhaled shakily. That was terrifying, Kiba wiped sweat from his brow. Why did he retreat? He had him. Sakura crossed her arms, forcing steadiness into her voice. Because he can't win, Shikamaru sighed. He already did, silence. He's not fleeing, Shikamaru continued. He's relocating the battlefield. Sakura frowned. Sasuke couldn't defeat Gaara, and Naruto's always been improving at the same rate, Shikamaru replied calmly. Difference is Sasuke had teachers. That struck harder than expected. In the academy, he added, who got blamed for everything, who was isolated during advanced lessons, who still passed. No one answered. Kakashi felt something unpleasant settle in his stomach. Reports had said Naruto received supplemental instruction, but thinking back, he remembered empty hallways, closed doors, and a blond boy sitting outside classrooms. He was improving on his own. Kakashi looked toward the monument, where red and sand clashed violently against stone, and now he's matching a Jinchuriki in partial release. His visible eye narrowed. How did I miss this? Hokage monument, Naruto abandoned the blade. The sword had weight. Resistance. A fraction of delay that mattered when facing someone who moved at his exact pace. Steel could not keep up, so he let it go. Now his fists carried everything. Each strike detonated against layers of hardened sand, shattering shields into violent bursts of grit. Every time his knuckles met actual flesh beneath the armor, the impact echoed through the stone face of the monument. The orange aura around him flickered violently, controlled, but barely. Gaara staggered after a brutal hit landed square on his already wounded arm. He retreated several steps, sand instinctively coiling around him. "You're strong, Uzumaki," he said, voice unsteady but laced with something unfamiliar disbelief. "I have never bled in battle, and yet you've done it more than once." His eyes darkened. "But that ends now, sleep." His body went slack. For a split second, nothing happened. Then the world ruptured. Sand erupted outward like a collapsing dune caught in a hurricane. It gathered, compressed, reshaped, swelling into a monstrous silhouette that blotted out the sky. A deafening cackle rolled through the air. At last, freedom, the one tail stretched its massive form, sand grinding like tectonic plates shifting. Naruto swore under his breath. Summoning jutsu. Smoke burst upward in a tower rivaling the beast itself. When it cleared, a colossal crimson toad stood firm, armor gleaming beneath the sun. Gamekin adjusted his grip on the massive Sasumata resting over his shoulder. "Back again, Naruto. You always seem to choose difficult opponents." His wide eyes shifted toward the towering raccoon spirit. "Ah, that explains it." "He's still sealed," Naruto replied quickly. "But the host let him surface." Gamekin exhaled. "That complicates things." Shukaku twisted toward them, manic delight rippling through his massive form. "Toad, you dare interfere?" Gamekin lowered into stance. "Hold tight. My movements lack elegance." That was the only warning Naruto received before Gamekin launched forward with surprising force. Wind blades tore through the air toward them. Gamekin pivoted, not gracefully, but effectively, deflecting the worst of the attacks with his weapon before closing the distance. The spiked end of the Sasumata slammed into Shukaku's arm, severing it cleanly. The limb disintegrated. Another formed instantly in its place. "Regeneration," Gamekin muttered. "Unfortunate." Shukaku roared, blasting sand in violent shockwaves. Gamekin endured the storm, pushing through, circling wide. Then he lunged inward, sliding under a sweeping claw before snapping the Sasumata upward around the beast's throat. The impact shook the monument. With a strained grunt, Gamekin heaved the enormous body downward, smashing it into stone. Before it could fully rise, he braced his stance and lifted again, suspending the creature momentarily. "Now," he barked. "Wake the host." Naruto didn't hesitate. He leapt from the toad's head and landed against the shifting mass of sand. The surface tried to reject him, spikes erupted in jagged bursts, attempting to impale him mid-stride. But he surged through, aura flaring brighter. He found Gaara's limp body embedded near the crown of the beast. Naruto drove his fist straight into the injured arm. The response was immediate. Gaara's eyes snapped open in agony. The sand construct destabilized instantly. Gravity reclaimed him. Gaara plummeted. He struck the stone below with a sickening thud, limbs folding unnaturally beneath him. A sharp crack echoed as his ankles twisted under the impact. Naruto landed several paces away, just as Gamekin vanished in a swirl of smoke. Silence fell, broken only by Gaara's ragged breathing. Naruto drew his sword again, more out of instinct than intent, and approached slowly. Gaara tried to drag himself backward. "Stay back." Naruto stopped a few steps away. "It's overwhelming, isn't it?" His voice had lost its battle edge. It was quieter now. "That feeling, like the entire world stands against you." Gaara froze. Memories flickered behind his cracked gaze, blood, screaming villagers, empty stares. Naruto's own eyes burned. "I know that darkness. I've lived in it." His grip tightened slightly on the sword before he exhaled and slid it back over his shoulder. "But it doesn't have to stay that way." Gaara's breathing faltered. Naruto continued, voice steady despite the tremor in it. "I used to think I had nothing, that I was alone, but there were people who reached out, who saw me, not the monster inside me. They gave me something worth protecting." His aura pulsed faintly. "I won't let anyone take that from me. I won't let you destroy what I finally found. If I have to stop you permanently, I will." Gaara's expression shifted, confusion wrestling with pain. "Why?" he whispered. "Why protect anyone but yourself?" "Because they saved me from myself." Naruto's answer came instantly. "They showed me I mattered." He extended a hand. "We're not different, Gaara. You can choose something else." Gaara stared at the hand like it was foreign. "I'll stand beside you," Naruto said quietly. "If you want it." A tremor passed through Gaara's voice. "You would accept me?" "Yeah." Naruto gestured behind him. Temari and Kankuro stood several yards away, shock written plainly across their faces. "They're still here." Gaara turned slowly toward his siblings. Temeri's posture softened first. "You're our brother," she said gently. "That doesn't change." Kankuro nodded once, firm and certain. Gaara's resistance crumbled. He crawled weakly toward them. They moved quickly to support him, lifting him carefully despite his injuries. Before losing consciousness fully, Gaara looked back at Naruto. "Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki." His voice grew faint. "Warn your leader, the invasion begins soon." Naruto's blood ran cold. Without another word, he surged forward, channeling the fox's chakra once more and racing down the carved face of the monument. Halfway down, two figures intercepted him. Genma kept pace easily. Jiraiya moved beside them, expression sharp. "Impressive work," Genma muttered between strides. "You handled him." "No time," Naruto snapped. "Sand and sound are moving." They reached the base. Naruto's vision blurred. The chakra cloak flickered violently before collapsing inward. Inside his mind, a growl echoed. "Enough, Kit, your body is fracturing." His legs gave out. "Hey," Jiraiya caught him before he hit the ground. "Naruto." "I'm fine, just tell the old man." Naruto tried to finish the sentence. Darkness swallowed him. Moments later, Tenzo appeared silently. The Sand siblings stood nearby, tense but compliant. "I'll take him," Tenzo said calmly, lifting Naruto carefully. "They confirm the invasion. They request temporary protection." Jiraiya gave a short nod. "Take the kid home, we're heading back to the arena." He glanced toward the stadium. "If this isn't stopped quickly, it won't be just a tournament anymore." Naruto hit the ground before he was fully awake. The impact knocked the last threads of sleep from his mind. He blinked up at an unfamiliar ceiling, breath shallow, muscles screaming in protest. Something was wrong. The air smelled different. Cleaner. He rolled onto his back slowly and pushed himself up onto his elbows. The floor beneath him was soft, plush, red. His eyes narrowed. Red carpet. "Since when do I have carpet?" he muttered. His apartment floor had always been worn wood, scratched, uneven, cold in winter. He knew every creak of it. This wasn't that. He forced himself upright, ignoring the stiffness clawing through his limbs. "Kurama, where are we?" he asked inwardly. "And why do I feel like I fought 100 clones at once?" The Ninetales answered without hesitation. "You overextended yourself. You forced more of my chakra through your coils than your body was prepared to endure. Your muscles began tearing under the strain." Naruto winced. "But," the fox continued, "your healing has already corrected most of the damage. What you feel now is residual fatigue, comparable to extreme physical training." Naruto flexed his fingers experimentally. "So once I recover, I'll be stronger." A rumbling chuckle echoed in the mental space. "No. If anything, you will be slightly weaker for a short time. Adaptation takes time, Kit. Destruction does not immediately equal growth." Naruto grimaced. "Great," he stood, though his legs trembled slightly. The room around him felt abandoned. A thin layer of dust coated the edges of polished cherry wood furniture. The walls were painted a deep, warm red. It felt intentional, not random, not temporary. His gaze drifted to a dresser beside the bed. 3 picture frames rested on top. He moved toward them slowly. The first frame held the image of a radiant red-haired woman and a tall blonde man with a nervous smile. The second showed a young red-haired girl beside an elderly woman with sharp but kind eyes. The final image displayed the third Hokage standing next to the red-haired woman in the Hokage's office. She was grinning, pointing at the leaf symbol on her headband. Naruto's breath caught. His hands trembled as he picked up the first frame. "Mom," the word came out broken. This was her room. The realization hit him all at once. He stumbled backward, then rushed toward the hallway as if afraid the truth would disappear if he didn't chase it. The first door was a storage closet. The second, a bathroom. The third, he pushed it open, and his knees gave out. The walls were painted soft blue. Clouds stretched across the ceiling in careful brushstrokes. A small dresser sat against the far wall. Toys rested neatly in one corner. And beside the window, a crib, not cheap, not neglected. Crafted from polished wood, smooth and sturdy. Naruto crawled forward, fingertips brushing its edge. "This was supposed to be mine." His throat tightened painfully. "She loved me." The words felt fragile, dangerous. "Someone loved me." He lowered himself carefully beside the crib, leaning against it like it was something sacred. He closed his eyes, breathing slowly, letting that truth settle into his bones. He stayed there. Nearly an hour passed before footsteps approached. "I see you found it." Naruto flinched, eyes snapping open. Jiraiya stood in the doorway, arms crossed, expression uncharacteristically soft. "Like it, brat." Naruto surged to his feet and crossed the distance in 2 strides, throwing himself at the older man. Jiraiya staggered backward into the hall with an oof as Naruto buried his face into his chest. "She loved me, pervy sage. I had a home. I wasn't just alone." Jiraiya's hand came up awkwardly, resting on the boy's back. Of course she did, he muttered. Your mother adored you. And your father, he nearly destroyed that crib trying to assemble it. Naruto blinked up at him. You knew him? Jiraiya gave a small huff of laughter. Knew him, I trained him. Stubborn idiot. Brilliant but hopeless with tools. Naruto stepped back. Who was he? Jiraiya's eyes flickered. I'll tell you soon, but right now you've got a meeting, 10 minutes. And judging by the way you're moving, you won't make it there alone. They stepped outside. Naruto paused as he took in the modest house from the outside. They moved here about a month before you were born, Jiraiya said casually. Before that, a tiny apartment, not exactly baby-proof. Naruto froze. My apartment. Yeah, Jiraiya confirmed. Your old man lived there since he was a kid, cleaned it out when they moved. Silence followed. Then, come on, Jiraiya said. We're late. Elsewhere, a dim cavern lit by flickering flames. So the Nine-Tails brat can already control his beast's chakra. The question came from a massive, blue-skinned man, resting a sword across his shoulder. Yes, replied the dark-haired Uchiha beside him. Reports indicate he operates at least at Jonin-level physical capability when utilizing it. The shark-like grin widened. Perfect. I'm stronger than that, you're faster, sounds like fun. Do not be careless, Itachi said evenly. He defeated the One-Tails host with limited assistance. Kasame's grin faltered slightly. And he wields the executioner's blade, Itachi continued. Alongside hidden mist techniques and silent killing, there was a pause. Well, Kasame muttered, hope he's entertaining. Hawkage Tower. Hiruzen Sarutobi reviewed paperwork with a tired sigh. The invasion had ended decisively. The Sans leader had fallen. Casualties were lower than expected. But paperwork, endless. Before him stood several shinobi. Kakashi, Asuma, Kurenai, and members of the younger generation. Once Naruto and Jiraiya arrive, Sarutobi said calmly, we'll begin. Already here. Jiraiya's voice came from outside. Several heads snapped toward the window. The Sannin stood on the roofline casually, and on the opposite window a flash of blonde hair, a massive blade. Naruto. Sarutobi's eyes widened slightly. He hadn't sensed him, not a whisper of chakra, not even the Nine-Tails. Impressive, the Hawkage murmured inwardly. Naruto entered slowly, movements controlled but stiff. He positioned himself away from Team 7, expression neutral. First order of business, Sarutobi began. Shikamaru Nara, Shino Aburame, step forward. They did. Effective immediately, you are promoted to Chunin. Shikamaru blinked in surprise. Shino inclined his head. After the formalities, Sarutobi's gaze shifted. Now, Naruto Uzumaki. Several eyes turned. Your performance during the invasion, as well as your demonstrated combat ability, warrants recognition. Effective immediately, you are promoted to Special Jonin. The room went silent. Sasuke's jaw tightened. What him? Sarutobi's expression hardened. He defeated the Sans Jinchuriki. He uncovered the invasion. He demonstrated Jonin-level ability in water release, stealth operations, tactical execution, and summoning. Naruto said nothing. He simply accepted the vest. Kakashi watched quietly. The cloak. The posture, it was familiar, too familiar. Lord Hawkage, Kakashi asked carefully, what becomes of my team? Sarutobi exhaled softly. That, he said, is something we must now address. Since you seem confused, I'll clarify, Hiruzen said calmly, fingers laced before him. Naruto Uzumaki was removed from Team 7 prior to the Chunin Exam finals. After reviewing multiple reports regarding your instruction methods, I concluded he would progress more effectively outside your supervision. His reassignment will be finalized at a later date. A faint curl tugged at the Hawkage's lips as he observed the stunned expressions around the room. Everyone, except Naruto and Jiraiya. Wait, if Naruto's not part of the team anymore, what happens to us? Sakura asked, voice tight. Team 7 will function as auxiliary support, Hiruzen replied evenly. You will assist other Genin teams on C-rank missions, beyond the village walls, and temporarily substitute for clan heirs when they are unavailable. Until further notice, you are reserve shinobi. He stood. That will be all. Jiraiya remains. Kakashi, you stay as well. There are matters requiring explanation. As the others began filing out, Jiraiya lazily waved a hand toward Naruto. I'll swing by your place later, kid. Check your basement while you're at it. You might find some interesting ceiling material. Sasuke's jaw tightened as he walked out. The idea that the dead last had surpassed him burned. Sakura, for once, didn't trail behind the Uchiha. Instead, guilt gnawed at her as memories of every harsh word she'd ever thrown at the blonde resurfaced. Across the room, Asuma and Kurenai exchanged thoughtful looks. If Kakashi had overlooked Naruto's potential, had they missed something within their own squads? Naruto stretched casually. See you later, pervy sage. Hey, old man, you know where Tenzo is? South Wall reconstruction, Hiruzen answered, though by now he's likely exhausted. Naruto vanished through the window in a blur. Jiraiya chuckled. Half his muscles are strained and he still moves like that. He resembles his father more every day, Hiruzen murmured. I'm telling him tonight, Jiraiya said quietly. About Minato. And I'm taking him on the road. Hiruzen nodded. He has clearance equivalent to a Jonin now. He may leave when he chooses. Then his gaze hardened. Kakashi, you will explain why you limited their development. South Wall Naruto reappeared in a swirl of dust beside the nearly restored southern barrier. Kurama, how much longer until I can draw more without feeling like my veins are tearing? Another week, the fox replied lazily. Keep the flow under 5%. Your coils are still adapting. A familiar voice cut in. Hey Naruto, heard you passed the exams. Welcome to the club, Naruto turned. Izumo grinned broadly. Kotsu squinted at the green flak vest. That's not a Chunin vest. Izumo blinked. Since when did you get promoted again? A masked ANBU stepped from behind them. Since he was advanced to Special Jonin, Tenzo said evenly. How does it feel being outranked by a 13-year-old? Both gate guards sputtered. Naruto lit up. Tenzo, been looking for you. Come along, Tenzo replied, adjusting his mask. There are people I want you to meet. They departed swiftly. Kotsu stared after them. Did he always carry one of the 7 swords? Izumo exhaled. When does that kid ever do anything normally? Yamanaka Flower Shop. The bell chimed as the door opened. Be right there, Ino called from the back. Take your time, came a wavering voice. Ino froze. Sakura, she hurried forward to find her teammate slumped against the counter, eyes swollen. What happened? I've been awful, Sakura whispered. Ino blinked. What? Shikamaru, Shino, Naruto, they were all promoted. That's good news. Why are you crying? Sakura swallowed. Naruto left Team 7 a month ago. Ino straightened sharply. What do you mean left? Something about complaints, and he asked to go. That makes no sense. You had the strongest rookie team. Sakura's fingers trembled. After Wave, I tried to be better to him. He saved us, but he kept pulling away. During the break, he was removed, and now he's Special Jonin. Ino's jaw dropped. He's what? Not full Jonin, Sakura said bitterly. Too strong for Chunin, not refined enough for Jonin. And now, we're on reserve until a replacement graduates. But without him, we aren't a team anymore. Her voice cracked. And I think he hates me. Ino crossed her arms. Naruto doesn't hate. You didn't see his eyes, Sakura whispered. They were different. Ino guided her toward the door. Go rest, I'll talk to him. I was planning to see him anyway. Sakura nodded weakly. As she left, Ino smirked slightly. No way he hates you. And if I prove it, maybe I score something extra out of it. Hawkage office, so, Hiruzen said coldly. You withheld advanced instruction until teamwork improved, accepted a C rank beyond their capacity, continued once it escalated to a rank, returned largely unscathed, submitted them for the exams, assigned Naruto to an instructor openly hostile toward him, privately trained Sasuke in a foreign taijutsu style and an A-rank assassination technique. Silence hung heavy. Did I miss anything? Kakashi's jaw tightened. I taught Sasuke that technique to counter Gaara. Jiraiya snorted. There were countless alternatives. Genjutsu, elemental counters, even your own analytical sharing and trick. You favored him. That's not true. You wanted him to win, Jiraiya cut in. And you structured it so he'd either face a weakened teammate or someone vulnerable to his specialty. Kakashi's eye flickered. Naruto shouldn't have beaten Neji. Hiruzen's disappointment was palpable. Even if he were weak, your duty was to strengthen him. Instead, you sidelined him. Jiraiya stepped toward the window. He's my student now. Whether he ever speaks to you again is his choice. His voice lowered. And if you pass Minato's techniques to the Uchiha, I won't forgive it. Sasuke, that idiot. Sasuke drove another Chidori into a post, splintering wood. How did he get that fast, that strong? Under a Sannin, he couldn't replicate Naruto's newer techniques. Every attempt destabilized. I'll surpass him. Then I'll go to Orochimaru. If the Dobi grew this much under a legend, I'll grow further. His thoughts darkened. Itachi will kneel. Odo Orochimaru skimmed the invasion reports. Sunagakure loses a quarter of its forces and its Kazekage. A thin smile curled his lips. That Uzumaki boy accelerated events. If he mirrors his father, his eyes gleamed. Send the sound 4. Eliminate him if the opportunity arises. Naruto's basement. Naruto knelt before an enormous seal, covering the rear wall of his underground study. The room glowed softly from light-inscribed tags embedded in the ceiling. Whoever designed this was brilliant. He examined the pattern. Blood-activated storage. He bit his thumb and pressed it to the center. The seal pulsed. Stone groaned. The wall descended slowly. Naruto's breath caught. No way, then that means. Root Danzo sat in darkness. An ANBU operative knelt before him. The Hokage does not suspect your involvement in the invasion. However, Jiraiya intends to take the Nine-Tails vessel when he departs. And the Uchiha, training diligently, Kabuto has observed him. Danzo tapped his cane. Interfere with Kabuto. Seal Sasuke's memory of my offer. Orochimaru must remain unaware. The agent prepared to vanish. Wait, Danzo added. Arrange a meeting with Hiruzen, Jiraiya, and Hadake. The Jinchuriki will be unattended. His lone eye narrowed. And then he will belong to me. No, that can't be right. If that's true, then the fourth Hokage was. Naruto's voice failed him as the realization settled in. My father. The words felt unreal in his mouth. He slowly turned in place, taking in the chamber he had just unsealed. The space stretched almost the entire length of the basement, far larger than it had any right to be. Three-pronged kunai were mounted carefully along the walls. A single blade rested at the far end, beneath a hanging cloak stand. Directly below it, on a raised stone pedestal, lay a massive scroll bound in crimson and gold thread. Two smaller scrolls flanked it, one shimmering faintly in gold, the other dyed a deep ocean blue. An armory, a library, a legacy, and it belonged to the man Naruto had admired his entire life. His father. Bookshelves no higher than his waist curved along the walls, filled with scrolls and manuals organized with obsessive precision. At the center of the chamber lay a circular ceiling formula etched into the stone floor. It was roughly 10 feet across, yet the air above it distorted faintly, as if heat rose from invisible flames. Naruto stepped closer, crouching beside the array. That's not a containment matrix, he muttered, tracing the outer symbols with his eyes. 10 expansion modifiers along the perimeter, dual gravity anchors in the core. His brow furrowed. And resistance bindings connected to both anchor points. He exhaled slowly. Jiraiya's lessons on advanced Fuinjutsu were the only reason any of this made sense. Without them, it would have looked like decorative ink scratches. Understanding hit him like a punch. He built a self-regulating gravity chamber. Naruto created a shadow clone with a sharp clap of his hands. Go! The clone stepped into the outer ring. Immediately its movement slowed. Each step became heavier than the last. By the time it reached the midpoint, its knees buckled under invisible pressure. A heartbeat later, it collapsed and dispelled in a puff of smoke. The feedback slammed into Naruto's mind. His eyes widened. The pressure spikes exponentially, not gradually, he whispered. And the interior space expands. It's not 10 feet. It's closer to 100. The ceiling array manipulated perception as well as gravity. He grinned. I wonder if, no. The voice reverberated through his mind like distant thunder. You are in no condition to attempt that. Naruto rolled his eyes instinctively. You again. You have microtears in nearly every major muscle group. Your chakra pathways are strained. Entering that chamber now would crush you. A pause. Much like your green-clad companion after my sibling entertained him. Naruto scowled. Way to ruin the moment. Recover first. He stepped away from the array reluctantly and approached the pedestal. Fine. Then let's see what you left me, Dad. His hand hovered over the smaller gold scroll. Kirigakure leaned back in his chair, reading the freshly delivered intelligence report twice, before letting out a low whistle. Well now, that's unexpected. Across the office, Mei Terumi raised a brow. Unexpected how? Our informant confirms the Leafs Jinchuriki defeated both a Hyuga prodigy and the One-Tail host. Ao adjusted his eye patch. And not through brute force. It mentions tactical fog deployment, silent assassination methodology, psychological manipulation, and an abnormally dense mist technique. Mei's lips curved slightly. He also summoned a toad the size of a battlefield asset. Not Gamabuntu, but comparable. Ao shook his head. He's 13. Age isn't everything. He wields Kubikirabacho like he was born with it. That alone should be impossible. Mei's gaze drifted toward the window. She remembered the first time she saw him, how effortlessly he'd lifted Zabuza's blade. No hesitation, no strain. He's more dangerous than you think, she murmured. Ao gave her a sideways look. Are you suggesting we attempt recruitment? He meant it as humor. Mei did not smile. It may not be the worst idea. Konoha Council Chamber, why are we here? Tsum Inuzuka growled, arms crossed. Sarutobi remained composed. The matter concerns Uzumaki Naruto. Danzo's cane tapped once against the floor. It has come to my attention that the Nine-Tails host has demonstrated controlled access to the beast's chakra. Furthermore, he has been elevated to Special Jonin and reassigned under Jiraiya's supervision. His visible eye narrowed. The council was not informed. Shikaku Nara didn't even lift his head from the table. The kid defeated another Jinchuriki. If anything, the promotion seems late. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the clan heads. Danzo's tone sharpened. A child wielding that power represents instability. Jiraiya's eyes hardened. I inspected the seal personally. It's intact. If the fox influences him, it doesn't, Jiraiya cut in. And we all know the real reason you called this meeting. Silence thickened. Danzo's cane tightened in his grip. Then, an explosion thundered from the western district. Jiraiya and Sarutobi were gone before the echo faded. Both carried the same thought. Naruto. Naruto's residence, the smell of scorched earth lingered in the air. Trees had been erased in a straight line, as though sliced by an invisible blade. 5 bodies lay scattered across the clearing, or what remained of them. One was impaled through the chest by a familiar sword. 2 were severed cleanly in half. Another lacked both head and arm. Naruto lay at the center, unconscious and covered in blood. Jiraiya was at his side instantly, checking pulse and breath. He's stable, he said grimly. Most of this isn't his. Sarutobi's expression darkened. ANBU, masked operatives appeared. Secure the perimeter, retrieve the bodies. Interrogation division will examine them. Sweep for survivors, I want every trace documented. This was no coincidence. Hospital room. Naruto woke violently. 1 second he was horizontal, the next he was upright, hands flying through seals. Stand down, Tenzo's voice cut through the haze. Naruto blinked, hospital ceiling. Sterile scent. Tenzo in the corner. A nurse frozen mid-step, face flushed deep red. Naruto looked down. He was very, very not dressed. Wood surged from the floor as Tenzo quickly formed a partial barrier. The nurse cleared her throat. Your chakra network is severely strained. Muscle fibers are torn throughout your body. Your throat shows signs of damage consistent with overexertion. Her gaze lingered a second too long before snapping back upward. You're fortunate to be conscious already. Naruto coughed, voice rough. How long? You'll remain under observation for several days. She adjusted his chart, still faintly pink, and perhaps try not to worry certain people who might care about you. With that, she exited, hips swaying far more deliberately than necessary. Naruto stared at the door. That was strange. He retrieved his gown and returned to bed. Where's the old man and pervy sage? I'll inform them, Tenzo replied calmly. Then internally, I really need to stop spending so much time around Jiraiya-sama. Danzo, report. Danzo didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. The single word pressed down heavier than any shout. Before him lay a root operative on a medical slab deep within the hidden foundation beneath Konoha. His right arm was gone from the shoulder down. Cauterized flesh glowing faintly under medical chakra, as several masked medics worked in silence. He wasn't human, the shinobi whispered, eyes unfocused. We had him contained, 10 of us. Standard suppression formation. Then the fog, his breathing hitched. It rolled in faster than predicted. Visibility collapsed instantly. Captain ordered defensive perimeter, but he was already inside it. Danzo's visible eye remained cold. The last thing I remember, the crippled man continued, voice trembling, was Captain's screaming retreat after losing his leg. I escaped because I was thrown clear. The rest, silence filled the chamber. Traceability, Danzo asked flatly. No, Code 6 protocols followed, no identifiers, no witnesses. Good. Danzo turned away, cane tapping softly against stone. Once stabilized, report to the genetics division. The shinobi flinched. As Danzo walked through dim corridors, thoughts churned behind his composed exterior. 8 root shinobi, 1 captain, lost to a boy. Hiruzen would notice the disturbance. The timing was inconvenient, and if anything of value had been revealed about Root's interest in the Jinchuriki that would be corrected. Naruto, are you stable? Hiruzen Sarutobi asked quietly. Naruto lay propped up in the hospital bed, bandaged but conscious. His breathing was steady now, color returned to his face. I'm fine, old man, Naruto replied, voice still rough. Who were they? Jiraiya leaned forward, notebook already open. Start from the beginning, Naruto nodded. Flashback, the forest had been quiet, too quiet. Naruto Uzumaki, you will accompany us. 1 masked ANBU dropped beside him. 9 more materialized from the surrounding trees, surrounding him in a perfect ring.
Their masks were wrong. No village insignia. Naruto's left hand moved instantly, one-handed seals forming at blinding speed. His right hand gripped the hilt at his back. You are not authorized to. Hidden mist technique. The world vanished into white. Perimeter formation, the captain barked. They formed a circle, backs to one another. He's in the fog. Especially behind you. The voice came from everywhere. Killing intent poured into the formation like ice water. 2 shinobi hesitated. That was enough. Steel flashed once. Both bodies fell in halves before the others even reacted. You've made a fatal miscalculation, Naruto's voice drifted through the mist. Now you pay. He moved without drawing on Kurama. Pure speed. Pure precision. A limb fell here. A head there. A scream cut short. The captain roared and lunged blindly, then collapsed, leg severed at the thigh. Retreat. The surviving operatives fled in unison. Naruto stood alone in the fog, breathing heavy. Not enough. Kurama. I need reach. A rumble echoed within his mind. Channel me to your throat. What? Do it. Naruto didn't argue. Golden chakras surged upward, flooding his chest, burning through his veins. His throat swelled painfully with the pressure. Release. He opened his mouth. A compressed pillar of blazing chakra detonated outward, carving a straight path through forest and fleeing shinobi alike. Trees vaporized. Earth split. The sound thundered for miles. When the light faded, nothing remained in its wake. The captain crawled, dragging himself desperately. Naruto's vision blurred. With his final strength, he hurled his blade. The sword pinned the man through the chest. Naruto collapsed seconds later, unconscious in blood-soaked grass. Hospital room. Jiraiya closed the notebook slowly. At first I suspected Kumo, Hiruzen admitted quietly. Given Kushina's history. Jiraiya shook his head. Too convenient. Too coordinated with that council meeting. His gaze hardened. This smells like Danzo. Naruto frowned slightly but said nothing. As soon as you're healed, Jiraiya continued, we leave. Your real training begins now. Hiruzen exhaled smoke from his pipe. I'll have Tenzo investigate discreetly. Regardless of origin, this changes things. The next day, word spread quickly. Naruto had been hospitalized. Naruto had fought A and BU level shinobi. Naruto had survived. Team Guy visited first. Guy wept openly while presenting reinforced orange training sandals fitted with metal plates. He also delivered a meticulous breakdown of Naruto's technical flaws from his fights against Neji and Gaara. Naruto listened seriously. Kurane arrived later with a scroll of advanced genjutsu designed for high chakra reserves. At the end of the scroll, Naruto nearly fainted from a sudden nosebleed. He swore that Jiraiya would never learn of that final page. Shikamaru stopped by briefly after clan obligations. Koji sent food. Asuma was away. Ino, however, had not yet appeared. Naruto sat in bed as a nurse spoon-fed him with exaggerated patience, clearly enjoying his embarrassment. Then he felt it. A familiar chakra signature outside the door. And I thought you forgot about me, Naruto called lazily. Come in, Ino. 1 week later. The northern gates stood open. Team Guy. Team 8. Team 10. All present. Gifts exchanged. Goodbyes given. Ino hugged him tightly and then surprised him with a quick kiss on the cheek. Hinata whispered soft encouragement. Shino nodded, hive buzzing faintly. Koji handed over an oversized pack of ramen. Shikamaru muttered something about not dying being troublesome. Sakura approached last. Come back safe, she said, hugging him. Her voice softened. And, thank you. Naruto smiled gently. I don't hold grudges against teammates. Behind them, a notebook was sliced cleanly in half. Stop writing about us, pervy sage. Jiraiya mourned his research. Sasuke stepped forward. Try not to fall too far behind, Dobe. Naruto met his eyes. Don't die before I get back. They understood more than either said aloud. Then Naruto and Jiraiya departed, sunlight flashing off the sword at his back as they disappeared down the road. Otagakure. You will retrieve Sasuke Uchiha, Orochimaru said smoothly. The sound four knelt before him. And if you encounter Naruto Uzumaki, eliminate him. Kabuto adjusted his glasses once they were gone. Is that wise? Reports suggest he's advanced beyond Genin level. Orochimaru's smile thinned. He is still a child. Kabuto hesitated. There is a new report. Silence thickened. He's been promoted to Special Jonin, and is departing with Jiraiya. Orochimaru's eyes narrowed. Interesting. Iwagakure. In a deteriorating council chamber, resentment simmered. Minato Namikaze's son walks freely, an elder spat. Have we forgotten? A veteran Jonin slammed his fist down. Kill the brat. Let the fourth suffer through his bloodline. An informant spoke carefully. He defeated a Hyuga in close combat. Wields Zabuza Momoki's blade. Hosts the Nine Tails. Defeated the One Tails Jinkriki. And summoned Gamaken. Silence fell. Jiraiya trains him. That changed everything. One councilman exhaled slowly. Then we require Jinkriki of our own. A name was spoken. Han. Another followed. Arshi. The meeting darkened. 5 days later, Valley of the End. Progress had been frustratingly slow. Naruto had split himself into dozens of clones throughout the gorge, each copy focused on refining wind nature manipulation or compressing chakra into incomplete Raise-Nan spheres that fizzled out seconds too early. The original sat apart, running controlled bursts of speed drills across the stone surface of Hashirama's statue, forcing his body to respond faster with every repetition. Jiraiya, meanwhile, had stopped thinking like a teacher and started thinking like a strategist. They had reached the borderlands near Rice Country earlier that morning, but he had deliberately slowed their pace. Charging forward recklessly would only get Naruto crippled, and tracking Orochimaru through hostile territory demanded precision, not desperation. If they entered enemy land injured, they would not leave it alive. Oi, pervy sage! Naruto's voice echoed off the cliffs. He sat cross-legged atop the first Hokage's massive stone head, staring down at the river below as if enlightenment might descend from the sky. Nothing had. Jiraiya didn't even look up. He stood near the cliff's edge, scroll open, brush moving lazily. Not another word until that Raise-Nan is complete. And I've already told you everything I know about shaping it. Naruto scowled at the deflated water balloon in his palm. Then why does everyone call you a sage? That made Jiraiya pause. His brush hovered mid-stroke. He hadn't expected that question. If I explain it, he'll demand to learn it. And if he learns it, does he even need it? Jiraiya's eyes flicked briefly toward Naruto. If he masters the Nine Tails properly, sage training might become redundant, or dangerous. After a moment, he answered carefully. Ask the fox what he knows about nature energy. And whether his chakra can handle it. Naruto blinked. That's it. That's it. Naruto closed his eyes. Kurama, you heard that, right? A deep rumble answered him. I heard. Sit still, Kit. You are about to learn why mortals fail. Hokage's office. You summoned us, Lord Hokage. Shikamaru and Shino entered the office quietly, but the tension in the room was thick enough to taste. Hiruzen Sarutobi didn't waste time. At approximately 11 last night, Sasuke Uchiha left the village. Harano Sakura reported his departure during the guard rotation. Both boys stiffened. We do not know whether he left voluntarily or was abducted. You will assume the worst. The Hokage's gaze sharpened. You are assigned as joint squad leaders. Assemble available Genin and Chunin. Retrieve Sasuke Uchiha. Silence lingered for half a breath. You depart from the north gate in 1 hour. Bring a Hyuga. Bring an Inyazuka. Tracking is priority. Hi. They vanished instantly. The Hokage exhaled once they were gone. 2 destinations. Only 2. His eyes darkened. Itaki, or Orochimaru. If Sasuke reached Orochimaru, an older agreement would collapse entirely. I cannot allow that. Bore, he called quietly. A masked Anbu appeared. Summon Danzo Shimura. Now. Valley of the End. Naruto remained still for nearly 30 minutes. To Jiraiya's surprise, the boy did not fidget. Wind moved through the gorge. Water thundered below. Then a shadow crossed the sun. Jiraiya glanced up just as a Konoha messenger hawk descended. He raised his arm and winced when the bird landed harder than expected. That's new, he muttered, removing the scroll tied to its leg. He broke the seal. And froze. Troublesome, he whispered. From atop the statue, Naruto didn't open his eyes. Sasuke left, didn't he? Jiraiya looked up sharply. Naruto continued quietly, you reacted before you even finished reading. The wind shifted. He's been unstable since the exams. I should have said something sooner. There was no anger in his voice. Only certainty. Somewhere on the road to Rice Country. So I swallow those pills, and the seal fully stabilizes. Sasuke's eyes remained locked on the group in front of him, though suspicion flickered beneath his composure. Power outweighed caution. It always had. If you possess the Heaven Seal, Jirobo replied calmly, the amplification will be significant. Karin adjusted her glasses, studying Sasuke with unsettling focus. You're roughly mid-Chunin right now. First release pushes you higher. Second release? Speed and strength approaching low Jonin. Teiwia clicked her tongue. Can you shut up? Language? Jirobo sighed. Shut it, Lord S. Sasuke barely registered the argument. Naruto won't catch up now. The seal pulsed faintly beneath his collar. Not this time. Otagakure. You requested me. Kimimaro entered slowly, movements precise despite the illness gnawing at his body. Kabuto didn't look up from the vials he was mixing. Be prepared. If the sound 4 fail, you'll intervene. They will not fail. Kabuto smiled faintly. Konoha will respond. And Naruto Uzumaki complicates projections. Kimimiro's expression hardened. The boy who disrupted the invasion. Yes. If necessary, Kimimaro replied calmly, turning toward the exit, I will eliminate him. Kabuto watched him go. The sound 4 may fall, he admitted privately. But Kimimaro? No. Still. Orochimaru had sent him despite his deteriorating condition. Interesting. North Gate, Konoha. Shikamaru stood facing the assembled team, Ino, Koji, Niji, and Kaiba. This is at minimum an A-rank mission, he stated plainly. Possibly higher. Niji's brow tightened. Sasuke Uchiha left 11 hours ago. We do not know whether he was coerced. So assume hostility, Kaiba muttered. Correct. Shino adjusted his collar. Tracking lead goes to Inyazuka. Will maintain cross formation. Shikamaru nodded. Ino central. Medical priority. Shino and I flanking. Koji flexible rear mid response. Niji backline surveillance. Constant Byakugan sweeps. Koji swallowed hard. Support. Niji asked. At least one wave, 12 hours behind. Possibly a second at 20. Niji's gaze hardened. This is understaffed. Shikamaru's expression didn't change. Probably. Outskirts of Iwagakure. What does it say? Asuma's voice carried tension. Kakashi lowered the message slowly. One of mine has left the village. Kurane blinked. Naruto. No. His visible eye darkened. Let's move. Valley of the End. So they're heading toward the sound hideout? Naruto asked quietly. Likely, Jiraiya replied. This crossing is the fastest route unless they detour through bird country. Naruto inhaled. Red chakra flickered faintly controlled, restrained. He reached outward. 6 signatures, he murmured. 5 carrying strong negative emotions. 1 unstable either excited or scared. Jiraiya nodded approvingly. 5 mid-Chunin. 1 high Genin. Good. Naruto opened his eyes. They're about half a mile out. Jiraiya finally stood. Use everything you've learned. The river roared between 2 stone legends. And somewhere in the distance, fate moved closer. 10 minutes later, Naruto stood balanced atop the weathered crown of Hashirama Senju's stone likeness in the Valley of the End. Wind tugged at his flak jacket as he closed his eyes, letting a faint thread of crimson chakra slip into the air like a hunting line cast into dark waters. He wasn't just sensing. He was measuring. 2 signatures ahead. 1 contained. 1 enormous. His thoughts drifted inward. So you can absorb natural energy, but you can't stabilize it into sage mode because you're a being of pure chakra. You can't balance what you are. A low rumble echoed through the cage of his mind. That is the simplified explanation, Kurama replied dryly. And focus, Kit. These approaching shinobi aren't ANBU fodder. They move with raw force. Direct, fast. Like that green-clad lunatic you sparred with. Naruto's lips twitched faintly. Speed and strength are fine. As long as I dictate the battlefield, their power won't matter. They are transporting the Uchiha alive, Kurama countered. Capturing without killing requires precision. Either they are highly skilled, or someone far more dangerous commands them. Naruto's gaze sharpened. Then I assume traps. Tricks. Hidden weapons. You should assume that always, Kurama replied. And conserve energy. Multiple enemies require efficiency. Mist and blade. Nothing more. My chakra stays in reserve unless absolutely necessary. Your body has recovered. You are at the level you were when you broke the sand beast's host. Naruto exhaled slowly. They're close. He opened his eyes. Now. The sound 4. Karin slowed mid-stride, her breath hitching. There are 2 chakra sources ahead, she murmured. One is cage class in density. The other. She swallowed. It's vast. Teiwaya scoffed. Cage class? Don't exaggerate. Lord Orochimaru's chakra is cage level. The only shinobi nearby with that kind of output is one of the Chunin. I'm not exaggerating, Karin insisted, voice tightening. If the first is a lake, the second is an ocean. Kidomaru adjusted the heavy barrel strapped across his back. We deter. There's no reason to engage something stronger than us while we're guarding him. Sasuke snorted. We're Orochimaru-sama's elite. I don't care how big it feels. We crush whoever stands in our way. Karen's skin prickled. They're waiting in the clearing ahead. Valley of the End. The group burst into the open expanse. And froze. A lone figure stood upon the stone head of the first Hokage, cloak fluttering faintly in the breeze. Sasuke grinned. I don't believe it. That's the target Kabuto mentioned. Teiwaya blinked. That kid. Naruto's voice carried clearly across the valley. Release Sasuke Uchiha. If you comply, you leave alive. Kidomaru laughed harshly. You threatening us? Jirobo squinted. He's wearing a Jonin vest. Orders said Genin, Teiwaya muttered. The air changed. A crushing wave of killing intent flooded the clearing. Karin collapsed to her knees, breath stolen from her lungs. Even the others stiffened. Naruto's expression hardened. You threatened my life earlier. I know who you are. As a Takubitsu Jonin, I will return Sasuke to the village, or eliminate the obstacle preventing that. Your survival depends on your decision. Sasuke laughed. You. Naruto formed a seal. Hidden mist technique. The valley vanished into dense white. Even Karen's sensing faltered. What the hell? Teiwaya barked. Nobody mentioned this. Formation. Sasuke snapped. Protect the container. They formed a defensive ring, backs to one another. And waited. Seconds stretched. Nothing moved. No footsteps. No breath. Only mist. Then. A wet slicing sound. A heavy thud. Jirobo turned. Sasuke's body crumpled headless to the ground. His head rolled to a stop in the grass. Teiwaya's pulse spiked. He didn't even scream. A voice echoed from nowhere and everywhere. 1. Kidomaru's web trembled. 2. The sound vibrated through bone. 3, 4. Teiwaya's hands shook as she prepared her flute. 5. A blade flashed through the mist. Kidomaru gasped as his abdomen split open. He reacted instantly, silk sealing the wound as he collapsed, feigning death. 6. Karin bit back a cry as pain exploded through her legs, hamstrings severed cleanly. She dropped, forcing her chakra to repair the damage while staying silent. 7, 8. Another slicing impact. No scream. Just the sound of something heavy separating. The mist thinned just enough for Teiwaya to see Yukon's body divided cleanly down the center, collapsing beside Sasuke's corpse. Blood pooled in silence. Curse mark level 2, she screamed. Her skin darkened, markings crawling before settling into a monstrous transformation. Jirobo roared, his body swelling and hardening as he seized the barrel. Their combined chakra output surged outward. And the mist began to disperse. Naruto stepped back, watching. They're forcing it away with raw output. Curse seal amplification. The fog thinned completely. Now it would be direct. Naruto shifted his grip on the blade. Adapt. Retrieval team. Miles away, Akamaru whimpered violently. Kaiba frowned. What is it? The Ninken pressed closer, trembling. There's blood ahead, Kaiba said grimly. A lot of it. Ino's chest tightened. Did the support squad intercept? Impossible, Shikamaru replied. The Jonin were too far. Shino adjusted his glasses. My insects detect residual water nature chakra 10 miles ahead. There is also a large presence between high Jonin and possibly cage level. Koji blinked. Naruto. It's plausible, Neji added, eyes straining. There's chakra dispersing in the sky ahead. Shikamaru clicked his tongue. Troublesome, increase speed. Ino ran faster. Please be safe. Naruto. With Jiraiya. High above the shattered clearing, balanced on a narrow branch, Jiraiya masked his presence so completely that even the insects nearby ignored him. His chakra was suppressed to a whisper less than that nothing. He watched. You did well, kid, he thought, arms folded inside his sleeves. Better than I expected. 2 bodies already down. The twin parasites were gone, their leader erased. Efficient. Clean. But the girl with crimson eyes had recovered unnaturally fast. Red hair. Exceptional vitality. Healing ability beyond common medical ninjutsu. Uzumaki, Jiraiya concluded silently. Or close enough to one. His gaze shifted toward the remaining enemies. So what's your next move, Naruto? Back in the clearing. Naruto stood still, blade lowered but ready. I'll ask one more time, he said evenly. Where is Sasuke Uchiha? His right hand held the massive sword with relaxed control. His left hand remained concealed within his cloak, fingers already prepared for a seal. Teiwa's smirk returned as dark markings spread across her skin. If you're so desperate, trash, she sneered, check the barrel. Jirobo glanced toward Kidomaru. Status. Naruto's eyes shifted. The spider-like shinobi had risen again. One arm guarded the deep slash along his torso. His skin darkened, his eyes had gone completely black. The red-haired girl had retreated behind them, finishing her work. Naruto evaluated calmly. Red hair. Healing skill. Minimal killing intent. She's not like the others, he assessed internally. If she's truly Uzumaki, she may be one of the last. His gaze flicked to the large barrel resting nearby. So he really was taken. Decision made. I eliminate 3. I leave with Sasuke and the redhead. Kidomaru stepped forward despite his injury. Level 2 patched most of it. Still stings. His thoughts were less confident. He killed Sakon and Yukon. Nearly ended me. One mistake and we're finished. Naruto tilted his head slightly. You're still choosing to fight? Kidomaru laughed harshly. In this state? We're invincible. He spat silk from his mouth, weaving it instantly into a bow. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Their chakra felt disturbingly familiar, similar to what Sasuke's had become in the Forest of Death, only heavier. More refined. They'll be faster. Stronger. I'll try without Kurama first. Jirobo roared and charged. To most observers, he vanished in a blur. To Naruto, he moved like thick syrup, high Chunin speed at best. Naruto dipped under the incoming punch and drove a sharp hook into Jirobo's abdomen. The impact stopped the massive shinobi cold. Before momentum could return, Naruto pivoted behind him and drew his blade across the man's back. Steel bit deep, a diagonal gash split flesh from shoulder to hip. Naruto didn't pause. He shifted instantly toward Kidomaru. An arrow launched toward his chest. Naruto angled the flat of his blade and redirected it aside without breaking stride. Kidomaru attempted another shot. Too slow. Naruto slashed vertically. The spider nin twisted barely out of range. Naruto embedded his blade into the ground and used the hilt as leverage, swinging his body around and driving a heel into Kidomaru's face. Teiwa slammed her palm into the earth. Summoning technique Doki. Smoke burst outward, revealing 3 towering ogre-like constructs, eyes and ears sealed, mouth stitched shut. Kidomaru followed immediately. Summoning technique Giant Spider. A massive black arachnid materialized beneath him, red patterns gleaming along its body. Jirobo staggered. His legs failed him. The slash had severed more than muscle. I can't move. He grinned through blood. Then I'll take him with me. Kinjutsu, Earth Golem Bomb. Naruto's instincts flared. Forbidden technique. He withdrew instantly. Stone compressed around Jirobo's body, compacting into dense rock. And detonated. Shrapnel screamed across the battlefield. Kidomaru deployed a web shield. Teiwa forced her summons to absorb the blast. Naruto planted his sword before him. The cubic Aribasho endured, though fresh chips scarred its edge. When the dust cleared, Jirobo was gone. Naruto exhaled slowly. That's two. His gaze locked onto the remaining trio. Give me Sasuke. And the red-eyed girl. I'll let you walk. The red-haired Kunoichi stiffened. What do you want with me? Naruto met her eyes directly. You're a healer. Valuable to a village. And if you're Uzumaki, then you belong to a clan that's nearly extinct. Her thoughts spiraled. Orochimaru-sama said I had no clan. Teiwa stepped forward. We refuse. Her flute lifted to her lips. The doki charged. Naruto adjusted his stance. I've only managed this once, he admitted inwardly. Let's see. He infused chakra into the blade. Flying swallow. Wind chakra extended the sword's edge, forming a glowing emerald extension nearly 5 feet beyond the steel. He swung once. The elongated arc cleaved through all 3 doki simultaneously. They dissolved. Silence fell. Naruto rolled his shoulders. How much? 15%, Kurama responded from within. You can handle more now but not for long. End it quickly. Red chakra seeped from Naruto's skin. It intensified. Condensed. Dark orange cloak forming around his body like flickering flame. This ends now. Teiwa froze. What is that? Kidomaru felt the shift instantly. Even the giant spider recoiled. Naruto vanished. Teiwa never saw him move. Impact. Her body folded unnaturally around his extended kick before she crashed into a tree. The curse seal receded as unconsciousness claimed her. Kidomaru stared. That was a kick. Web him, he shouted desperately. The spider screeched. And then fell silent. Naruto stood atop its head, sword embedded cleanly between its eyes. The summon dissolved. Kidomaru trembled. You killed her. Dark lines spread further across his body as his curse seal evolved violently. I'll kill you. Naruto tightened his grip. New level, Kurama warned. His output just spiked. Kidomaru charged recklessly. 6 arms swung simultaneously, each coated in hardened golden silk like blades. Naruto ducked beneath one strike and countered only for his sword to be caught and deflected. He disengaged immediately. 6 arms. Increased speed. Close combat favors him now. Naruto sheathed his blade across his back. Time to end it. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 2 clones appeared. No explanation needed. They understood. Naruto pressed a hand against each of their backs, channeling chakra wind to one, water to the other, enhanced further with Kurama's power. Kidomaru lunged. Wind style, Cyclone Fist. Water style, Great Collision Wave. The techniques merged. A massive spiraling vortex of water and slicing wind tore forward, engulfing the Spider-Nin completely before he could evade. The storm hurled him backward, shredding trees as it dragged him across the forest floor. When the vortex dissipated, nothing recognizable remained. The clearing fell silent. Only the faint flicker of orange chakra remained around Naruto as he stood alone among the wreckage. The last of the shadow clones burst into smoke, the clearing falling quiet as the orange haze around Naruto faded back beneath his skin. The rush of borrowed chakra withdrew with it, leaving a dull heaviness in his limbs. He's not standing back up after that. Naruto exhaled slowly and turned toward the barrel that held Sasuke. Across the clearing, Karin flinched when he approached, her chains rattling softly as she pressed herself back. I'm not here to hurt you, Naruto said, keeping his tone steady. Earlier I meant that. If you're an Uzumaki, then we share blood. And even if you're not, you're still someone worth protecting. It'd be good to have another ally. He crouched and gripped the lid of the barrel, tugging. It didn't move an inch. Why isn't this opening? Karin opened her mouth to answer, then all color drained from her face. Suijutsu. Naruto blinked. Suijutsu. The air shifted behind him. Instinct snapped his hand to the hilt at his back. Steel rasped free as he spun. A boy stood there about his age, pale as moonlight, white hair hanging loose around sharp purple eyes. His clothes mirrored the same colors, loose and careless. Naruto narrowed his gaze. Who are you? The boy rolled his eyes. You deaf? She just said it. Suijutsu Hojiki. And you're carrying something that belongs to me. Naruto tilted his head slightly. I don't recall stealing anything. The blade on your back, idiot. Suijutsu's expression sharpened. I'm its rightful successor. Naruto's fingers tightened around the wrapped hilt of the Kyubikaribasho. Zabuza trusted me with it. His voice came out calm. It was given to me. I have proof. Suijutsu's lips curled. Then prove you deserve it. The giant executioner's blade slid free with a heavy metallic sigh. Naruto let his chakra leak just enough for intent to spill into the air. If he's after this sword, he's not weak. Across from him, Suijutsu's eyes flickered with surprise as Naruto lifted the massive weapon effortlessly. After fighting the sound 4-2? TCH. He's got stamina but skill? With a flick of his wrist, Suijutsu broke a seal at his waist. A massive claymore dropped into his hand. Elsewhere, Jiraiya crouched high in the trees, watching. He handled the last group easily, but this white-haired kid's different. The blade alone screamed strength. Jonin reserves at least. Don't get reckless, brat. His gaze shifted briefly toward the redhead by the barrel. She hadn't moved. Back up, better hurry. He can't burn through his chakra before the real fight starts. Back to the clearing. Suijutsu planted his blade into the dirt with a grin. This is the training weapon of the 7 swordsmen. Forged from the same metal as that thing you're holding. His eyes gleamed. I'll carve you down with it. His hands flashed through seals. Hidden mist technique. Fog exploded outward, swallowing the clearing. Naruto didn't move. A slow smile formed. I learned this one a while ago. His chakra pulsed. The mist thickened, instantly growing heavier, denser, suffocating. The air itself seemed to press down. Suijutsu's grin faltered. What the hell? Even Mangetsu couldn't make it this dense. Steel screamed. He barely blocked in time, the impact rattling his arms. I didn't even hear him move. Naruto vanished again, silent as breath. He can track me? Interesting. If you're so confident, Naruto's voice echoed from everywhere, why are you trying to scare me out? Suijutsu shut his eyes, focusing. Drop the mist, he taunted. You're outclassed. Naruto's laugh was soft. If that were true, you wouldn't need to say it. Then silence. Total silence. No wind. No leaves. No distant movement. Suijutsu's instincts screamed. He liquefied instantly. 7 phantom slashes tore through where he'd stood. Water splashed against the ground before reforming into the white-haired teen. 7 cuts? But there's only one of him. Naruto reappeared several steps away, eyes narrowed. He turned into water? Not even Yamato can evade that technique. What was that? Naruto demanded. Suijutsu smirked, confidence restored. Bloodline. I am water. Naruto's mind raced. There's no external source nearby. And the moisture here is saturated with my chakra. That means, his body itself transforms. The mist began to thin as Naruto pulled his chakra inward. Visibility returned. If water heals him, then fire damages him. But his stronger techniques required deeper access. Across the field, Suijutsu felt it immediately. He's dispersing the mist. Damn! Before either could move, a violent surge of chakra detonated behind them. Both turned. The barrel had shattered. Sasuke stood free, black markings crawling across his skin like burning ink. Karin lay unconscious nearby. The retrieval team burst into the clearing at the same time. Sasuke's gaze locked onto Naruto. Finally. His voice trembled with mania. I'll prove it now. His eyes slid to Shikamaru. You're next. Naruto exhaled slowly. 2 enemies at once. Kurama, he muttered, voice low. 20%. An explosion of orange chakra blasted outward. The ground cracked. In a blink, Naruto stood between Sasuke and the retrieval team. Stay back. Ino stepped forward. We're not useless. Yes, Naruto said flatly, eyes never leaving Sasuke, you are in this fight. A glance at Shikamaru. If they interfere, stop them. Shikamaru nodded. Troublesome, but agreed. Sasuke laughed. So the dead last finally grew claws. You're still beneath me, Naruto replied evenly, lifting the Kyubikaribasho. Sasuke's face twisted. Naruto vanished. The next second, Sasuke smashed into a distant tree. Simultaneously, Suijutsu's torso separated cleanly at the waist. Silence. Then rage. I won't lose to you. Sasuke's chakra erupted violently. His skin turned grey. Hair lengthened. Black wings tore from his back. Yes, he breathed. This is power. Naruto watched calmly. So that's Orochimaru's influence. Elsewhere. In a strange void beyond sight. Shinigami observed without expression. How crude. Minato folded his arms. That is not the boy who protected his teammate against Haku. Kushina shook her head. Something twisted him. Zabuza snorted. Cursed seal, no doubt. Power without discipline. Minato's gaze softened slightly. The Uchiha were once proud. They destroyed themselves, Zabuza replied flatly. Kushina's voice sharpened. Not entirely. Itachi stopped a coup before it began. Zabuza blinked. I heard he slaughtered them for ambition. Minato shook his head. He was stronger than nearly all of them by 13. Zabuza smirked faintly. You speak highly of him. Almost as much as your son. Minato didn't respond. But his eyes remained fixed on Naruto. The room fell silent the moment Kushina spoke. Well, she said lightly, though her eyes were sharp, that might be because it is true. After all, Itachi was never Fugaku's son. A mediocre jutsu collector like him couldn't have produced someone like that. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Minato exhaled slowly, realizing there was no point in letting the silence stretch any further. I've cared about Kushina since we were children, he began calmly. We were inseparable by the time we were 8. But Kushina, a faint smile tugged at his lips. She has always had unconventional ideas. Kushina snorted. Mikoto was her closest friend. At the time, Mikoto wasn't married. What followed was complicated. But I trust everyone here is intelligent enough to connect the rest. The implications struck like a physical blow. Itachi Uchiha the prodigy. The clan executioner. Not Itachi Uchiha. Itachi Namikaze. The hell are you talking about? Zabuza barked. I've memorized the bingo book entry on Itachi. He's practically a carbon copy of Fugaku Uchiha, especially those eyes. A low chuckle echoed through the room. And isn't that curious? Shinigami drawled. Sasuke resembles Mikoto far more than Fugaku. If Itachi were truly theirs, wouldn't there be a clearer blend? His grin widened. You used a concealment seal. Minato nodded. An advanced one. Had the truth surfaced, Mikoto would have been stripped of her position, possibly exiled. The seal altered specific physical markers. It had to survive Jujutsu scrutiny, which meant embedding the changes at a chakra level. Zabuza narrowed his eyes. Look closely, Minato continued. The only trait Itachi shares with Fugaku are the tear troughs beneath his eyes. Artificial. Everything else, facial structure, bone line, posture, favors Mikoto. His original hair was blonde. His eyes were blue until he was nearly 3. A stunned silence followed. There was also the matter of the birth, Kushina added. Fugaku was conveniently detained during a council meeting. The seal was prepared beforehand. Applied immediately. During wartime, Minato added. Excuses were easy. And Fugaku? Zabuza asked. He never knew, Kushina said flatly. The Uchiha elders forced a marriage shortly after conception. They wanted control over Mikoto. And Sarutobi. Shinigami's voice carried dark amusement. Believed Itachi was born prematurely, Minato replied. Though Kakashi may have suspected. He always watched Itachi carefully. Zabuza frowned. Who delivered the child? Kushina and Minato answered together. Tsunade. Back to the battlefield. Naruto's eyes tracked the shifting pattern of the curse seal as it spread further across Sasuke's body. Damn it! He's stabilizing stage 2. The wings flexed behind Sasuke's back, warped bone and chakra fused together. If he escalates fully, that Chidori won't stay localized. Naruto's grip tightened around the massive blade in his hand. Mist won't work. Not with Suijutsu here. Wind chakra surged through the steel. The sword ignited in a sharp emerald glow. Sasuke blinked. Green. Suijutsu's pupil shrank. Chakra flow. And wind-based at that. If that blade cuts me, I won't reform cleanly. The air warped. Naruto vanished. Steel collided with bone wing in a shriek of friction. Sasuke barely intercepted the strike, but the wing split open under the enhanced edge. The slash carried through, carving into his shoulder. Before Sasuke could recover, a kick crashed into his opposite side. A crack rang out. His second wing fractured at the joint. Naruto disengaged instantly. Suijutsu was already forming seals. A torrent of water erupted upward just in time to deflect another wind-laced strike that would have bisected him. The valley floor groaned under the pressure. Retrieval squad. They could barely process what they were seeing. Koji swallowed. How did he get this strong? Shikamaru exhaled slowly. He was holding back. That C-rank mission. I read the report. Naruto saved them. Niji's Byakugan flared. That chakra, it resembles what he used against Gaara. But it's more controlled now. Denser. Refined. Like armor. Like the Raikage lightning mantle but different. Alive. Battle. Sasuke Uchiha, Naruto said evenly, stepping forward as wind circled his blade. Return to Konoha immediately. This is your final warning. Sasuke's expression twisted. Konoha shackles me. They train you while I stagnate. Lightning crackled violently in his palm. I'll kill you. Then I'll kill Itaki. His lips curled. Or maybe I'll start with them. Fire style, great fireball. The curse seal enhanced inferno roared toward the retrieval team. They froze. Water surged up then parted. Naruto appeared before them, sword sweeping outward like a massive fan. Wind met flame. The two forces collided violently and collapsed in a thunderous burst of steam. Jiraiya. From the cliffside, Jiraiya narrowed his eyes. He protected them. Redirected the blast too. Good instincts. But he studied the faint red undertone flickering beneath Naruto's chakra. Without the 9 tails, that Chidori would have pierced him clean. We're accelerating his training. Dual element fusion. Physical reinforcement. And, maybe the Uzumaki chains. If he can manifest those. Jiraiya's gaze hardened. Subdue him, kid. Or finish it. Retrieval team. Movement drew their attention. A red-haired girl lifted her unconscious companion. Please, she said urgently. Take us back to Konoha. We want out of sound. Niji hesitated. Watch them, Naruto ordered calmly without looking back. The shorter ones finished. The others unstable. Clash. Steel screeched behind him. Suijutsu lunged. Naruto pivoted. The wind-coated blade met the claymore and sheared it in half. Shock flashed across Suijutsu's face. Naruto's heel slammed into his chest. Enhanced by Kurama's chakra. Suijutsu flew backward, skidding dangerously close to the cliff's edge. Sasuke reappeared instantly, Chidori screaming toward Naruto's heart. To Naruto, the world slowed. He stepped inside the strike. Caught Sasuke's wrist. Twisted. Bone snapped. Sasuke howled. Naruto hurled him toward Suijutsu. Silence followed. The wind wall still shielded the retrieval team. Naruto rested the sword briefly against the ground. Breathing steady. For assaulting a superior officer with lethal intent, he said quietly, your sentence is death. Wind surged violently across the blade. His left hand flashed through seals. Fire transfer. He exhaled a narrow stream of flame. The wind-fed edge erupted into searing blue fire. The blade hummed. Naruto raised it across his face. Kenpo. He swung. Inferno wave slash. A crescent wall of azure flame exploded forward, wind magnified, spiraling, devouring everything in its path. Sasuke wrapped his wings tightly around himself. Suijutsu summoned water desperately. The inferno swallowed them whole. The valley trembled under the impact. And for the first time, the 9 tails chakra did not feel wild. It felt controlled. Retrieval squad. No one spoke at first. The air itself seemed stunned. Ino's lips parted slightly, but only a breath escaped. That's insane. Moments earlier, the water barrier shielding them had begun to hiss and steam when Naruto's blade ignited. By the time he released the technique, the very moisture in the air felt like it had been burned away and they were standing far outside the blast radius. Now the valley was swallowed in sapphire fire. Niji's Byakugan flared brighter as he leaned forward, veins bulging near his temples. The inferno swallowed Sasuke and the white-haired swordsman whole. That chakra, Niji muttered quietly. It's not pure fire. It's something far more volatile. Raw. Corrosive. Through his vision, he saw it clearly, a red current braided through the blue flames. Not refined. Not molded. It reminded him disturbingly of Gaara's chakra during the exams. Shikamaru exhaled slowly through his nose. Prepare yourselves, he said flatly. That snapped everyone out of their trance. We secure Uchiha Sasuke. Whatever's left. Shock rippled across the group. Shikamaru didn't blink. Our mission doesn't change because the battlefield does. Alive or dead, we bring him home. If reinforcements show up. His eyes shifted briefly toward Naruto's blazing silhouette. Naruto and I will stall. You move. No one argued. They couldn't. Hokage Tower. Hiruzen Sarutobi had known from the moment the report arrived. Sasuke Uchiha hadn't been taken. He had chosen to leave. Politics restrained him more than age ever could. The council still held enough influence to make a scene dangerous. Accusations. Blame. Panic. The old Hokage rubbed his temples. Then. Crack. It was subtle. But wrong. His gaze drifted upward. Minato Namikaze's framed portrait hung above the shelves. A jagged fracture ran across the glass, splitting the fourth Hokage's image in two. Hiruzen's blood ran cold. No. There were only a few living ties left to Minato's legacy. Slowly, he opened his desk drawer. Naruto's picture rested on top. The glass was fractured the same way. ANBU. The room filled instantly, masked operatives kneeling in silence. One squad to the border. Support the retrieval unit. Primary objective, capture Sasuke Uchiha. Secondary, his jaw tightened. Naruto Uzumaki is in danger. A shorter ANBU stepped forward, long purple hair visible beneath her mask. Understood. Cat, you lead. She vanished in a storm of leaves. Hiruzen turned toward the remaining operative. Tenzo. Follow separately. If Naruto loses control, his eyes darkened. You are to contain him. Tenzo nodded once. I won't fail. Wave country. The docks were brighter than before. Trade had returned. Laughter too. A tall red-haired woman stepped off the ship, heels tapping against the wood. Impressive, she murmured with a smile. It's grown. Because of him, a teenage dockhand replied proudly. She arched a brow. Him. You don't know? Naruto Uzumaki saved us. Another man approached, sturdy build, confident stride, twin canteens at his hips. Tajuna. Bridge builder. De facto leader these days. He extended a hand. And you are? Mei Terumi. Kirigakuer. Her smile was pleasant. Passing through. Another shinobi. Tajuna snorted. Last one we had wore a mask and read books all day. Ao stiffened slightly behind her. Kakashi Hatake was here, he asked sharply. Sure was. That brat and his teammates too. Mei's smile didn't fade. Tell Naruto, Tajuna added, Inari's waiting. Back to the valley. The flames receded like a dying tide. Charred wings blackened, remnants of the curse mark disintegrated into ash. Sasuke's body collapsed forward, smoke rising from torn fabric and scorched skin. Suijutsu was gone. Naruto didn't relax. His crimson cloak still flared, chakra snapping like a living thing. Shikamaru, he called without turning. Take him. Now. Shikamaru didn't hesitate. Kaiba. Niji. Clear a retreat path. Koji secure and carry. Ino and I provide cover. Karin trembled visibly. Before anyone could move, a figure landed silently beside Naruto. Good instincts, kid. Jiraiya. Shock rippled through the squad. Then came a second voice, silk over venom. Leaving so soon? Across the valley stood two men. Kabuto. And Orochimaru. Jiraiya's posture shifted immediately. Stay back. Naruto barked. This isn't your fight. Orochimaru's smile widened. On the contrary, it's exactly my fight. His hands flashed through seals. Earth release, arena enclosure. The ground thundered. Walls of stone erupted around the clearing, sealing the retrieval squad inside. Kairin's face went pale. Orochimaru's eyes slid toward her. So. Betrayal. His smile sharpened. How nostalgic. Shikamaru's mind raced. Hold position. Defensive formation. Kabuto adjusted his glasses. Ainara leading? Impressive. His gaze shifted lazily to Naruto. Though considering this one made special Jonin at 13, standards have slipped. Naruto ignored him. He didn't need words. He glanced at Jiraiya. The Chunin grinned. Let's make an entrance. Hands slammed to the ground. Summoning jutsu. 4 explosions of smoke swallowed the valley. When it cleared, 2 massive toads crouched on one side. 2 colossal serpents coiled opposite them. Gamaken adjusted his grip on his spiked club. I will try not to stumble. Naruto smirked faintly. You're doing fine. Manda hissed, eyes narrowing. The air turned heavy. Retrieval team. Kaiba stared upward. That's Gamabuntat, and the one from the exams. Shino's insects buzzed steadily as they continued draining Sasuke's chakra. And that, Shino observed calmly, is Manda. Karin swallowed. To challenge Orochimaru-sama. Ino crossed her arms. Naruto's never cared who he fights. Clash of summons. Orochimaru's voice carried. You continue to disgrace your parents' memory. Naruto didn't respond. Gamaken did. You dare speak of them? Manda lunged. The earth cracked. Naruto split into 2 clones instantly. Wind release great breakthrough. Water release grand collision. Lightning release toad bolt. The techniques merged mid-air. Electrified water roared forward like a living storm. It struck the lesser serpent directly. Kabuto leapt clear as the summon dissolved into smoke. Orochimaru's composure fractured briefly. Impossible. Naruto launched forward without hesitation, vaulting from Gamaken's head and clearing the canyon in a single explosive leap. Ino, someone shouted. She stepped forward instinctively. Naruto. Below him, Kabuto prepared for impact. And above the battlefield, thunder rolled. Ino, relax. His angle's fine. He'll clear it. Shikamaru didn't sound worried, just analytical. Still, even he couldn't look away. Naruto was falling from the sky like he'd calculated the drop down to the inch. He doesn't fight like someone afraid of dying, Shikamaru thought. It's not recklessness. It's acceptance. Jiraiya vs Orochimaru. From atop the massive serpent, Orochimaru's golden eyes followed the descending blonde. How interesting, he murmured. Even when he disrupts my work, he grows. Perhaps I should claim him before someone else does. Jiraiya's jaw tightened. You'd never take him. He's not that weak. Orochimaru's smile thinned. Everything breaks eventually. The tone made even the air feel damp. Finish your own battle, snake, Gamaken barked as his shield crashed into Manda's skull with enough force to rattle the canyon. Stone fractured. Manda hissed. Naruto. The wind screamed past Naruto's ears. Mid-fall, he twisted blade horizontal, body rotating around it like an axis. The massive cubic blurred into a spinning arc of iron. He wasn't diving. He was drilling downward. Kabuto's calm mask cracked for the first time. Jumping from a summon. Over open canyon. Weapon spinning at lethal velocity. Bold, Kabuto muttered. He waited. 3 seconds. 2. 1. He leapt clear. The blade slammed into earth where he'd stood, detonating stone. But that wasn't the real attack. Naruto released the sword mid-spin. Kabuto's pupil shrank. The enormous cleaver tore through the air toward him impossibly straight despite the momentum it had just carried. He couldn't have aimed that. Steel bit into Kabuto's side. Not deep enough. But deep enough. He twisted midair, forcing his body to reduce the damage, yet pain exploded through his ribs. Kidney. Then something tightened around the hilt. The sword changed direction. Kabuto's scream tore across the battlefield. The blade yanked backward through flesh, ripping wider on its return path. It flew no, it obeyed. Back into Naruto's waiting grip. A glowing violet chain dissolved into his sleeve. Naruto blinked once. Did I just do that? He didn't show it. From Manda's back, Orochimaru stiffened. Those chains. Jiraiya's eyes narrowed. Orochimaru's voice dropped. Uzumaki. Silence hung heavy. Does he also know the flying thunder god? Orochimaru sneered. Jiraiya didn't answer immediately. No. But he wasn't certain. Manda took a final crushing blow from Gamaken's iron staff and vanished in smoke, retreating to recover. The battlefield shifted. Kabuto staggered back, palm glowing green as he forced regeneration. Naruto didn't advance immediately. I know you can repair yourself, he called calmly. But can you repair wind-laced trauma? Water chakra began to gather around him. And your friend in the trees? He can come out too. Kabuto's eyes sharpened. Naruto clapped his hands together. Missed. Retrieval team watching. The fog rolled unnaturally thick. Kaiba squinted. What is this? I can't smell anything. Shino adjusted his glasses. Kirigakure technique. Elite swordsmen use it to erase presence. Niji's Byakugan flared. Nothing. I couldn't perceive him when we fought before, Niji said quietly. Now I understand why. Koji swallowed. What was that chain earlier? Karin hesitated. Orochimaru-sama mentioned, chakra chains. The name felt heavy. Inside the mist. Kabuto couldn't see. Couldn't hear. Couldn't sense. The fog pressed against him like weight. This isn't natural. Naruto's voice echoed from nowhere. Darkness swallows those who gamble with monsters. Kabuto turned sharply. Nothing. A line of pain opened along his side. His wound split. He hadn't felt the blade touch him. Another cut opposite side. Limits exist, Naruto's voice murmured. Even for surgeons. Blood hit the ground. Kabuto's breathing grew ragged. His killing intent. A third slash carved across his back. Kabuto stumbled. Kimimaro. Bone erupted into the air. Steel clashed against hardened white. Naruto withdrew into vapor. The mist shifted violently. Chakra spiked. The fog began thinning. Naruto exhaled and released the technique entirely. Across from him now stood pale death. Kimimaro. Bone blade drawn from his own shoulder. You're low, Kurama's voice rumbled within him. How much? Enough. End the medic first. Red chakra seeped out around Naruto like heat distortion. Kimimaro entered his curse mark's second stage without hesitation. Kabuto steadied himself, still bleeding. He eliminated the sound for Suijutsu. Even Sasuke under the second state, Kabuto said, adjusting his glasses. His growth curve is abnormal. Kimimiro's expression didn't change. I'll determine that. Naruto rolled his shoulders. Good. I was hoping you were stronger than the others. The red cloak flared brighter. Then he vanished. Kimimaro reacted on instinct. Too late. Steel carved across bone armor, leaving a deep line. His arm split open seconds later. Kabuto's breath hitched. That shouldn't be possible. Naruto pivoted mid-motion and launched toward Kabuto. Bone intercepted again. The impact cracked the ground beneath them. Naruto flipped backward to avoid a chakra scalpel arc from Kabuto. He blocked, countered, struck. Kicked Kabuto through dust. Caught a bone spear inches from his chest. Twisted. Threw Kimimaro into Kabuto. They crashed together. Naruto landed smoothly. You hide well, he said evenly. Behind stronger shields. Internally, calculation raced. Bone durability. Rapid healer. Coordinated defense. This won't last at this rate. His chakra flared. 10 red-cloaked Narutos appeared. Each holding a massive blade. Each silent. Kabuto's eyes widened. They attacked without warning. Blades swung low, high, diagonal. Kimimiro's bones shattered under repeated impact before reforming. Kabuto barely avoided losing his throat. Clones began bursting into smoke one by one. Kimimaro destroyed several in a spinning sweep. Then, silence. Smoke. Kabuto turned. Too late. Raise Nan. The sphere slammed into him point blank. Jiraiya and Orochimaru. Their duel had slowed. Neither had escalated. Both waited. You're holding back, Jiraiya observed. So are you, Orochimaru replied smoothly. Sage mode required time. The Kusanagi required commitment. Neither wanted to expose themselves first. Another stalemate, Jiraiya sighed. Orochimaru's gaze drifted past him toward the red flare in the distance. Perhaps not. The pale Sunin's smile twitched as he observed the battlefield from across the ravine. The blonde had done it again. 10 identical bodies moved in perfect synchronization, each wreathed in that burning, golden chakra. Splitting that much of the fox's power evenly, Orochimaru murmured, tongue flicking briefly across his lips. So the seal has stabilized that far already. Across from him, the white-haired sage exhaled slowly. Told you. The kid doesn't do things halfway. In the valley below, Kimimaro was surrounded. Not by reckless copies. By coordinated hunters. Each clone attacked from blind angles, forcing the bone manipulator to constantly shift the density of his skeletal armor. Kabuto's eyes narrowed. This wasn't the erratic fighting style they had expected. Naruto wasn't improvising. He was directing. Then the clones vanished. All but one. The real one. He appeared directly in front of Kimimaro without fanfare, palm already spinning with compressed chakra. Not wild. Not unstable. Perfectly shaped. Spiral break. The impact detonated with a low thunder crack. Kimimaro's ribcage resisted for half a second then shattered inward. The shockwave ripped through him and hurled his body across the valley floor. Dust rose. Silence followed. Kabuto stared. Kimimaro pushed himself up on shaking limbs. Blood ran down his chin. I will not fall, he whispered, and the earth screamed. Bones erupted from the ground in every direction. White pillars speared toward the sky, twisting into a forest of death. Naruto didn't hesitate. He moved. Not panicked. Not desperate. He calculated distance, direction, angle. Golden chakra flared tighter around him, compressing like a second skin as he accelerated. The ground blurred. Wind tore past his ears. Behind him, bone spires detonated upward, barely missing his heels. Inside his mindscape, a massive eye opened. He's forcing every last fragment of life into that technique, the fox growled. He won't stop. Naruto didn't answer verbally. He pulled at the chakra coiled within the seal, not flooding himself with it, but channeling it. Upward. Through his chest. Through his throat. The pressure burned. Another spear shot up in front of him. He pivoted mid-stride and landed in a crouch, chakra building at the base of his lungs. Now, the fox said. Naruto exhaled. What left his mouth wasn't flame. It was pure force. A focused beam of condensed chakra, bright gold, dense enough to distort the air around it, tore forward. Everything it touched ceased to exist. Bone disintegrated into dust. The ground beneath it carved open like clay under a blade. Kimimaro never had time to scream. When the light faded, half the forest was gone. A trench cut across the valley like a scar. Kabuto had retreated to the far edge, eyes wide in disbelief. Above, even Orochimaru felt his breath hitch. That, he whispered. Jiraiya's expression hardened. That's control. Below, Naruto didn't celebrate. He moved again. Crossing the newly carved canyon in a single leap, steel rang out. A massive blade intercepted a curved sword mid-swing. Orochimaru stood between Naruto and Kabuto, Kusanagi humming as it blocked the execution strike. Behind Orochimaru, a kunai pressed lightly against his throat. Enough, Jiraiya said calmly. For a moment, everything froze. Then Sasuke's eyes snapped open from where he lay against shattered stone. He saw it. Naruto holding ground against Orochimaru. Not losing. Not overwhelmed. Standing equal. Why seek power elsewhere, if it already exists here? The thought struck him harder than any blow. But the stalemate shattered when another presence slipped into the field like a shadow cast by moonlight. A blade touched Naruto's neck. He did not flinch. It seems you've grown, said a quiet voice behind him. Naruto recognized it instantly. I was wondering when you'd show up. Jiraiya's eyes narrowed. Release him. The newcomer's gaze never left Naruto. My organization still requires that snake. Naruto felt no killing intent directed at him. Only calculation. Something deeper. You were assigned to watch me once, Naruto said quietly. Now you're threatening me. Interesting development. A faint pause. Then the blade withdrew. The tension broke. Orochimaru stepped back, expression unreadable. This is not over. It never is, Jiraiya replied. Moments later, the intruder vanished alongside the Snake Sunin and his medic. The valley fell silent. The retrieval team arrived seconds later, stunned by the scale of destruction. Shikamaru surveyed the canyon scar. That's troublesome. Shino's insects refused to approach the lingering chakra residue. Niji simply stared. That wasn't desperation. That was mastery. Later Hokage Tower. The third Hokage studied the report in silence. Naruto stood before him, voice hoarse but steady. Sasuke shouldn't be executed, he said. He wasn't thinking clearly. The curse mark was influencing him. Sarutobi regarded him carefully. You still defend him? He's one of us. Jiraiya stepped forward. I'll handle the seal personally. The Hokage nodded slowly. Very well. Naruto turned to leave through the window. Sarutobi sighed. Why does no one use doors anymore? Far away sound. Orochimaru crushed a glass vial in his hand. The boy stabilizes the fox, and restrains it. Kabuto adjusted his glasses. Then he's more dangerous than predicted. Add him, Orochimaru hissed. Priority target. Night. Naruto returned home. The refrigerator was stocked. He hadn't done that. You're getting careless, came a voice from the darkness. Naruto didn't reach for his sword. He flipped the light on. Red eyes reflected back at him. You shouldn't break into my house, Naruto said evenly. The Uchiha regarded him silently. You've changed, the man observed. Naruto's golden chakra flickered faintly beneath his skin. So have you.